Hey, I'm Robert Watkins. On behalf of the Georgia Power Company, we want to welcome you to Columbus.
I'm Mary Sherman, Executive Director of the Columbus Sports Council. We are thrilled to welcome you to this amazing place that we are fortunate to call home. We hope you have a wonderful experience here in our community and hope you come back often.
Hey, I'm Justin Krieg from the Historic Columbus Foundation and a part of the ICF host committee. We're so excited to have you all here with us in Columbus, Georgia. We hope you have a great time.
Hi, I'm Betsy Covington. I'm on the host committee and I'm the president of the Community Foundation here. We are so glad to welcome you to this community. When you are here, you are family.
All right, everyone, we're getting ready to kick off this final day of the 2022 ICF Canoe Freestyle World Cup. This is the semifinal round for the junior men's class. We have a full slate. I am joined here with
Sophie Gilfillan.
Yeah, Sophie and I have been commentating over the past week. It's been super fun. All these athletes have been throwing down, and I'm excited to see this final day. This is going to be 2 runs, and 1 is going to count. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So the top 5 from this round, we're going to be seeing later this afternoon in the finals for the junior men. And then we will see our junior male K1 World Cup winner this evening.
Yeah, we're also doing an overall winner. So the athletes get points for each event they place in. Nanase with the highest points as of right now. He is currently in the lead, so it'll be cool to see if he can get the sweep again.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a really strong paddler. Stands a really good chance of paddling lights out again today in these 2 rides that they're getting for semifinals.
Yeah, I know Mateo Williams and Ani Ironic are on his tails. It's going to be super tight. Landon Miller also coming in for the final event here, doing C1, but also trying his luck in the K1, currently in 4th position. But today, the scores go back to 0, and we are going to reseat for the finals. 5 of these paddlers are going to walk away, and 5 are going to advance to the next round. But let's go ahead and look to our first heat of this semifinal round. We're going to have Ian Kazek from Pennsylvania, Walker Edens from South Carolina, Magnus Monson from Atlanta, Mateo Kowalczyk from Idaho, and Cam Linhart from Atlanta. A lot of U.S. in this heat. It's going to be amazing to watch. I've seen all these guys throw down on this wave. The water is still stabilizing, so we're just waiting for every single waiting for that bottom eddy to fill up, the bottom pool to fill up. It makes this wave a little bit more retentive. Sophie, how are you feeling paddling this wave?
I'm used to those big waves up in Canada, big green faces, and not this much foam. This one's a little more violent, and not violent, but foamier, and the shoulders aren't super friendly. So yeah, you can see there in the bottom, it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit. A little chilly here, but not that bad.
I think it's pretty chilly. It's some cold weather here for the South. Fall is definitely upon us. Yep, this is the World Cup final, the final day of competition here in Columbus, Georgia, and Phoenix City, Alabama. Look at that beautiful sunshine, morning sun rays on, and there is our heat list. Sophie, who do you think is going to make it to the next round? What do you think the cut's going to be? How tight do you think this semifinals is going to be?
Well, we saw day before yesterday, a super strong showing from the junior men. There was a bit of a gap between the top and the bottom, and Nanase is just so strong. There's a pretty big gap between first and second, but I think we'll definitely be seeing those top 3, which was Nanase, Teo, and Landon, and Ani. Sorry. I think, I think there's some strong contenders. So I think this first heat is going to have to fight really hard if they want to be up there in those finals this afternoon.
I completely agree with you. And we have about 1 minute till we get started. I know that I can see the judges down there getting in their tents. I can see the last little warm-up. Mateo Kowalczyk getting coaching from Caleb Grady down there, head of world class. I can see Ian getting fired up on the side of the river, about to get in his boat to get this started. We have a start time of 9:30 as of right now, and we are going to move straight into the next round right after this one. It's going to be back-to-back all day long. The most of a break we're going to have today is 15 minutes. So make sure you have some pizza sitting beside you. You got a bunch of drinks in the cooler. It's going to be a full day of freestyle kayaking, top-notch paddling from all over the world, all brought to you here at the Planet Canoe.
Yeah, so we're going to have all of our finals today being women's and men's C1, junior women, junior men, senior women, senior men, along with our men's semifinals, women's semifinals, and junior men's semifinals. So it is going to be an action-packed day. So better get ready, because these athletes are not going to stop once they start. See those athletes warming up in the eddy there, the leaves flying. Here comes Ian Cieslak for his first ride.
Yeah,
bib number 75.
Here we go for Ian's first ride of 2 in the semifinal round, dropping in JK Little Shredder, all-around ripper, going for that huge blunt right off the bat, and unfortunately flushing off that right curler. You can see the curler there. There's a rib going up the middle of that wave. and on the right and on the left. So you got to know exactly where you are at all times on the wave to stick in. He's going to come with a 25 points to start off. Definitely not what he needs to get to the next round, but he can definitely up his score to get up on top of the podium in the top 5. He made finals he almost made finals for the ambush event.
Oh, he was in. Oh yeah, no, he was one spot away from finals.
Yeah, he was in 6th place for the finals or for the semifinals in ambush. So he's definitely going to want to break into that top 5. But next up, we have Walker Edens. His twin brother, Gray Edens, was also competing in this event, but not making it to the next round. So he got the best of his brother in this event. Having that super stylish helmet, hydro-dipped strutter there, getting the last-minute boat adjustments, just waiting for the thumbs up of the head judge, Danny O'Brien of Ireland.
Coming from Christ School, I believe there's a lot of school pride with those two. Yeah, we're excited to see what they have for us.
Here he goes, paddling out into the wave for his first ride of his semi-final campaign. Dropping in, Sophie, tell us what he's got.
All right, catching the wave there. Looking for that blunt to the right. Really nice air, really nice verticality. Not giving the judges anything to think about. Looking for that back blunt in the same direction. Backing it up, maybe looking for that other back blunt. Spinning it around, trying to get on top of that wave. Those shoulders are not super friendly. He wants to be up there. Take a deep breath. Letting those muscles relax for a second. Trying to get on top of that wave. He's got lots of time to make it back up there. Spinning it around again on that shoulder. Coming down the foam. Just not quite liking that pass. A lot of athletes can be pretty picky with their passes as they want the biggest bounce to throw the biggest trick, and especially in this junior men's semifinal. Maybe looking for a blunt, spinning it around. That's going to be time for Walker. Score of around 200 points, not quite settled yet. I think he's going to be pretty happy with that one, getting both those blunts right off the bat, and then just not quite getting the right setup later in his ride. But that's a really nice blunt. I think he's going to be really happy with that one.
Yeah, settling at 200 points there. That went green, so he's going to move to the top of the leaderboard with that one. Straight into first. Yeah, had a solid start to his ride, but had a little bit of trouble getting things going at the end. That's right, he has one more ride after this one. But we're moving straight into Magnus Monson. He has been working with Chris Wing, Hardcore, H2O Dreams. He is an all-around amazing paddler, not getting the finish he wanted at Ambush, but he's here showing us how great of a paddler he is. Going in for a nice roundhouse to the left to get things started. Surfing on that danger zone. Buddy, you need to come back over. There you are, back in the main part of the foam. Going for that maybe blunt or back blunt, not getting it going. But he's getting backwards again, looking for his next pass. Trying to throw the boat around, but not getting the verticality that he needed to score those tricks. 10 seconds left on the board. He's up on top. Can he stay in? There he goes. He's getting a big pass down the wave. What does he throw? Going for the nice blunt to the left, but not sure if he's getting all the way backwards to count that. Solid ride by Magnus.
Yeah, so to score those blunts, they really want to get their stern facing back upstream so that the judges know that they did that full 180-degree rotation.
Yeah, each of these tricks had a predetermined point value and a strict definitions that these athletes have to meet to score these tricks. You see him going for that maybe back roundhouse there. He couldn't get the boat to come up and over his head. So a roundhouse is getting the boat above 15 degrees. Blunt is over 45, and Pan Am is over vertical, so over 90.
They were going to see his score coming in at 51.67. Which I believe does not put him right where he wants, but he's got another ride to prove what he has. Next up, Mateo Kowalczyk from Boise, Idaho. Also a student at World Class Kayak Academy, traveling the world, creek boating. Catching a bit of a bubble in the middle there, just getting on top of the wave. Not quite getting... Looking for that blunt to the right, really nice and snappy from Mateo. I've seen him throw all 4 blunts like nobody's business. Getting points on the board nice and early, looking for that blunt in the other direction. Maybe catching a bit of a bubble on top of that foam. He's fighting to stay in there, paddling backwards. Is no easy feat on this wave. It really just wants to flush you in the weirdest times. Sometimes Mateo's doing a really great job at retaining that feature. showing that he deserves to be on that wave. Looking for the back blunt, maybe catching a bit of a flush with only 10 seconds left in his ride. But still, 2 really nice blunts from Mateo, and we know he's got more left in the tank, so we're excited to see what he has for us next ride.
For sure, Mateo's an all-around amazing paddler on JK Little Shredders, running the North Fork all the time, coming with a 1:31.67. So if you ever see a 6.7 or a .33 up there, that means either 1 or 2 judges gave the trick. But we are moving straight into Cam Linhart. This kid's always smiling, stoked on freestyle. This is his first ever international competition. Here he goes, dropping in for his first ride.
Looking for those passes there. Just looking for that blunt, maybe roundhouse to the right. Trying to get back up on that foam. With 26 seconds left, he really wants to show us what he's got. Not sure. Looking for that snappy blunt, maybe into a back blunt. Just kind of getting thrown around in the foam. To score these tricks, they want to be out of the foam just so that they're not getting thrown around. Maybe looking for that blunt in the other direction. He really wants to score that blunt. Getting that stern around, going for the back blunt and just flushing off in that danger zone. That surfer's left shoulder is really flushy. We've seen it take a lot of people, especially the day before the competition. We had a training session. The line was like an hour long, and sometimes I would just catch the wave and flush off there in the first like 2 seconds, and it was heartbreaking because I had to wait an hour to surf again. But so hopefully we won't see too many more of those flushes off that shoulder.
Yeah, you can see some excellent boat control there by Cam, avoiding the flush there on the curler as it crashed on him. There goes that blunt there. See, the judges are looking for him to get out in front of the foam, but it looks like they gave him that blunt 61.67 points. That's going to move him into third as of right now. But all these athletes still get one more ride. We are moving back up to the top of the leaders, or to the top of the order with Ian Kazek from Pennsylvania. JK Little Shredder, all around athlete. This kid knows how to throw down. Let's see if he can do it for us now.
Just catching, dropping in the middle there, looking for that snappy blunt to the right off the bat, wasting no time. He wants those points up on the board, and he wants a lot of them. Looking for the blunt in the other direction. Lots of time left in his ride. I've seen him try some air screws in training, maybe looking for just trying to sell those blunts or roundhouses to the judges. Doing a little bit of a face surf on the back of that wave and then just flushing off in the middle there. That middle is not forgiving, especially when you're on your face.
Yeah, solid start by Ian. Definitely some amazing paddling as we see that huge aerial blunt to the right. He's having a score around 121. Yep, they're 121.67. Not going to move him into first place, but that's all right. It's going to move him into third. We will see where he ends up after the next heat goes. But we're moving right into Walker Edens, who is currently sitting in first with a 200-point ride. That is a single ride score. He's smiling big as he gets things started.
Little cartwheel in the middle there, just catching a bit of an edge.
He's stoked on that one.
A lot of these boys just really stoked to be kayaking. It's really what we love to see, bringing a lot of good energy into the sport. Looking to set up on that shoulder. He wants those blunts. We've seen him throw some really nice vertical aerial blunts. He's just out here having fun. He knows he's already thrown down, spinning it around on that shoulder, trying to stay in there. Coming around backwards, maybe looking for a back blunt. Oh, catching a bit of an edge, almost looking like a McNasty. That is going to be, I think he's going to be stoked on today, regardless of the outcome. Just an all-around really, really fun kid.
Yeah,
just really stoked on kayaking.
There's those cartwheels. That was pretty impressive to stay in the wave. Look at this. He claimed that with a fist bump. That was awesome. Amazing. That's what it's about. Just having fun out here with your best friends on the water, doing what you love. 200 points for Walker. He is going to stick in that first place. He had a super solid first ride, so maybe not feeling the pressure like he had to throw a big ride in a second one, so maybe going for the higher scoring ride. But here we go. Magnus Monson currently sitting in 5th place with a 51.67. I know he's going to want to up that big time. Here he goes, dropping into the wave.
Not quite liking that first pass. I think he's going to try and set back up. Using that surfer's left shoulder, to set up, which is not something you're going to see too often, as it can be a little unpredictable in who it takes. Looking for that blunt to the left. Maybe not quite getting the stern around. We'll have to see what the judges say about that. He's going to want to go back for that trick. Just looking like he's getting pushed around in the middle, trying to get back on top. Looking for that blunt, maybe roundhouse to the left. He's got 10 seconds left. He needs to throw something big if he wants to be a contender. Just flushing off that server left shoulder. I don't think he's going to be too happy with that one.
Yeah, definitely not Magnus's best paddling, but again, this is just 45 seconds you're seeing on these athletes. They have been putting so much work into this. Magnus is out here almost every weekend, training as hard as he can with his entire family. His dad, also an avid paddler. So it's cool to see him competing in this. We'll definitely see him, hopefully, for team trials. 25 points for Magnus. He's going to stick with his first ride score of 51.67. I think we'll definitely be seeing him some more of him in the future. But right now, it's all about this man, Mateo Kowalczyk, currently is sitting in at second place with a 131.67. Is he going to up that? Is he going to move into the top spot? Is he going to make finals? Only this ride will tell.
Mateo, really good friend of mine, super nice kid, just really stoked on paddling in general. Looking for that blunt to the right away, wasting no time, looking for that blunt, maybe roundhouse to the left. He's really snappy on those, knows how to stand up and get that boat nice and vertical. He's going to spin around, looking for that back blunt. There it is. That's what we like to see. I know Mateo can throw all 4 of those blunts. I've seen him throw some really nice air screws, fighting to stay in there. Still got lots of time on the board to get that last back blunt, and then maybe his air screw, which I've seen him throw in training on the Ottawa River. I'm curious to see if he will skip his last blunt and maybe just go right for his air screw with 4 seconds left in his ride. He wants to throw something big. He wants to be up there. Looking for that air screw on the buzzer. He retains it. I think that might have been a donkey flip, but he's going to be stoked. We're going to have to see what the judges think about that trick.
Was it right on the buzzer? Was it not? It's going to be up to the judges on that one. We can't hear the buzzer as of up here where we are commentating. All we see is the timer, so it's going to be up to the judges to see. He's going to be nervously waiting. There's that beautiful back blunt. That last 20 seconds, he just couldn't get a pass down the wave, but he threw it at the last possible second. Look at that pass there. Boom, going straight for that donkey flip, staying retained on the feature. Is it going to count? Is the score going to go up? Is he going to settle at 171? Already besting. It's going to stay at that 171. He is going to improve his score, but he's not going to move up in the rankings. That's right. He had some amazing kayaking, even if that last trick was right after the buzzer. But here we go. Cam Linhart from Atlanta, plays rugby, loves a jazzy guitar. He loves to paddle with family and friends.
Looking for that blunt to the right away. Just doing some cartwheels on the back there, and an unfortunate flush pretty early on in his ride. Scoring a 61.67 on his first ride. I don't believe he'll be improving on his score, but he's somewhat of a local, I believe, attending the Keener program this summer. Lots of good young kids headed up to that program up on the Ottawa River, some good waves. So he's been his score is going to come in at 21.67, not improving on his last score. So I think he'll stick with that 61.67, which is currently put him in a definite. That's going to be it for our first heat of the junior men's. Mason can walk you through that.
Yeah, so what we just saw the first heat of the junior men's, as Sophie said. Walker Edens is currently in that top spot right now with the single ride score of 200 points. There it is on your screen. 200 points for Walker Edens, 171.67 for Mateo Kowalczyk, Ian Kazak, 121.67, Cam Linhart, 61.67, and Magnus Monson rounding it out in 5th place with a 51.67. But don't go anywhere. We have one more heat. These guys are in reverse seating from 2 days ago of paddling. So the first place gets to go last. They get to have the final say on what the finals is going to be. So you're about to see some more world-class paddling from these young bucks here. There's a shot of the crowd. You can see some of the competitors just paddling. I can see Mateo Kowalczyk setting his boat down underneath that tent. The sun is slowly but surely coming to light up this river.
Yeah, all these athletes should be really happy with, you know, how today went, regardless of score. They're all semifinalists at the World Cup, regardless of what this next heat has to say. I believe we might be seeing some changes in our rankings after these next 5 paddlers come out. We have some really strong young men this year, and it's really cool to see the next generation super strong.
Yeah, Sophie, what do you think? Do you think some of the pressure is going to get to these top 5 paddlers, or do you think they're going to come in clutch?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've seen some really, really consistently good kayaking from Nanase and Mateo Williams, and Ani with some, in ambush, he threw some blunt nasties in his last ride. I've never seen him throw a blunt nasty until then, so that was really shocking. So I think maybe he'll have some more surprises for us, but definitely a lot of pressure. I know these athletes want to be there. They don't just want to be in that final, they want to be in that top 3.
Yeah, I can see Gil right there getting a fist bump from his fellow French athlete, bib number 85. He had an unfortunate swim in the first event, or in the first round, but in tweaking his shoulder, so I'm sure he did some nice PT yesterday, getting it all healed up. All the athletes have to go over there to boat check-in, make sure all of their equipment is good to go, make sure their boats are up to spec.
Yeah, we saw 2 swims in our junior men's class the other day. Our first being from Landon. I think he might have just gotten confused having that extra blade.
Yeah, I think so. There's Jenny giving a
big
wave to the
smile.
crowd. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back in about 7 minutes, and we'll see you guys later.
Hey, I'm Robert Watkins. On behalf of the Georgia Power Company, we want to welcome you to Columbus.
I'm Mary Sherman, Executive Director of the Columbus Sports Council. We are thrilled to welcome you to this amazing place that we are fortunate to call home. We hope you have a wonderful experience here in our community and hope you come back often.
Hey, I'm Justin Krieg from the Historic Columbus Foundation and a part of the ICF host committee. We're so excited to have you all here with us in Columbus, Georgia. We hope you have a great time.
Hi, I'm Betsy Covington. I'm on the host committee and I'm the president of the Community Foundation here. We are so glad to welcome you to this community. When you are here, you are family, and welcome to the group. Thanks.
Hey everybody, Dennis Beeson, Chamber of Commerce of East Alabama. We want to welcome you to the Chattahoochee Valley.
Alrighty, everyone, we are in the final 4-minute countdown until our final round of this semifinals, or final heat, sorry, of this semifinals round. This is Heat 2. of the junior men's class. We are going to be seeing a very international heat here. Sophie, who do we have for us?
So first up, we're going to be seeing Gail Beal from France, all the way overseas. Big commitment coming over here. Next up, we'll have Landon Miller from Asheville, North Carolina. And then we have Ani from Finland, who we saw on the podium, I believe second place in ambush. And then Mateo Williams from also North Carolina and placing third at ambush. And then we have Nanase Okazaki from Japan. So that's a ways away, but we saw him absolutely throw down on ambush, taking gold by a landslide, and just killing it in the prelims. So I'm excited to see what all these paddlers have for us today. All really strong, and yeah, it's nice to see some diversity in the nationalities up there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Mateo competing for New Zealand, representing his mom's legacy. She was an amazing person, touching so many people's lives. He's representing her by using that Live Like Maria sticker. This is going to be a very amazing heat. I'm excited. I hope all of these athletes move to the next round, but there's some wild cards in there. We have Landon Miller, who is transferring over to K1. He primarily uses C1, a single blade sitting on his knees, so it'd be really cool to see if he can transfer over to K1 and still throw down some high-scoring rides. Taking a swim yesterday, but that's all right. He doesn't know how to hand roll in a K1, but can hand roll a C1 is what I've been told.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I saw him try to hand roll at all. I just don't think he's used to sitting on his butt, which is, you know, it's all right, but it was definitely entertaining, and some could say humbling. So that's, you know, everyone could use to be humbled every now and then.
I agree. So we are about 2 minutes away from getting this kicked off. We're going to start with Gilles from France. He placed 5th in the prelims, so he is going to be first to go in this heat. Again, this is 2 rides, and 1 is going to count. Right now, let's just get a recap of our first round. The score to beat, if you want to guarantee yourself a spot in finals, is 200 points. So if you see any of these athletes break 200 points in a single ride, they are guaranteed a spot in tonight's finals.
Yeah.
There's a shot of our beautiful good wave here. Some say this is my baby. I love this wave. I spend so much time paddling it. It is one of my favorites. There is our heat list again. That means we are getting close. I see all the athletes getting in the water. As of right now, we have less than 30 seconds till we kick off our first paddler, Gilles from France. Here we go, and the time is about to start. The judges are giving him the thumbs up now. Here he goes, paddling into the wave.
Using that curler just to set up, bring them over so they don't have to fight as hard and they can get nice in the middle there and not just flush off the shoulder. Looking for that blunt, maybe roundhouse to the right away. Wasting no time, trying to get back up on top, spinning it around in the middle. Getting that really good pass, throwing his right blunt. Maybe looking for some back blunts now. In the danger zone, about to flush off that shoulder, makes me so nervous when those athletes go over it. Looking for that roundhouse, that maybe blunt. He wants all of those blunts and roundhouses, really selling it to the judges. Oh, catching a bit of an edge. Still in the feature, though. Looking for that donkey flip. Unfortunate flush off that surfer's right shoulder, but I'd rather flush off there than on the left. It's a little bit less heartbreaking.
Yeah, for sure. He threw all he had into that ride. I mean, that's what we want to see. Ambitious rides from these athletes. There's that score climbing up, 181.67. Is it going to break into that top 5 already, or is he going to stay and is he going to go straight into second position? Only time will tell. That was a really nice ride by Gilles. There's that roundhouse to the left. We're still waiting for his final score. We can look down there on the big screen.
Bouncing around about 181.67 points. Hasn't quite turned green yet. One of Gail's ambitions is to be world champion one day, so hopefully he's just kickstarting his career right here. There we see his score coming in at 181.67 points. didn't quite come up on the screen, but that is the score we have here. Oh. Landon switching up his gear a little bit, maybe. Get for new bucket.
Landon Miller, this man is notorious for being all over the place. He's always jangling around. Here he goes for his first ride, going straight into Pan Am to the left. Wow, what a start for Landon's first ride. Going for the nice blunt to the right to get this ride started. Going to spin straight into flashback. Wow, what an awesome ride. Already breaking that 200-point barrier with 20 seconds to go. Here he goes, moving into back blunt the other direction. Wow, Landon having a pretty solid ride. He's on top of the feature. What can he go? Going for that air screw.
Flushing off that shoulder. Landon is our current C1 world champion. I guess making him the best C1 freestyle paddler in the world currently. That bib number 3, low number, showing he is at the top there.
Yeah.
With that Red Bull helmet. I have no idea where he got that from. He may be a new Red Bull athlete. I guess we'll have to ask.
Yeah, he sent me a Snapchat last night of him wearing that helmet, and my response was, Landon, where did you get that from?
Yeah, I saw it on his Snapchat story and thought it best not to ask.
But look at that awesome back blunt there. We call that a flashback because he started forward, spinning the boat, and then using the momentum to help him get nice and aerial and vertical there. Here's another view of that back blunt. Very nice, using that shoulder to get nice and vertical. The judges are just adding up his score now, around 346 points. That would take him straight 266 or 366, moving him up and up on top. You think that's going to be the highest scoring ride we see today? Or you think we're going to see some higher ones?
I think we're definitely moving through this heat going to see some really big scores. I know Nanase can throw those clean blunts, super clean blunts, which is, I think they're being scored here, which is where you don't take the initiation stroke. We saw some super clean blunts and super clean air screws the other day, where it's just that missing that air screw or blunt stroke that you typically see, and also missing that initiation stroke, which I think is like a pretty crucial part to those tricks. So it's really, really tricky to get without them. So yeah, we're going to be seeing lots of really big scores. I think that might be enough for finals, but there is still 3 more athletes who have something to say about that.
Yeah, Landon officially safe into finals no matter what. He is going to make it in. 366 points. Congrats, buddy. You just punched your ticket into the finals later this afternoon. But we are moving over the big pond to Finland. Ani from the great country, dropping in for a huge blunt to the right to get things started, surfing around. He's in that apex rebound, one of the only ones out there in that boat. Eric Jackson starting that off. Nice going into the back blunt, spinning it around, trying to get maybe some link bonuses. Oh, how did he save that? What a save by Ani. Already over that 200-point mark with 20 seconds to go, going for that blunt again to the right. There it is, maybe going for that Pan Am, but on the shoulder, and unfortunately getting washed off with the curler.
Yeah, I'd say still pretty solid ride for Ani, and I believe we'll put him safely through to finals if he can score, if his score settles above 200. Currently, Landon is safe and nobody else, so he really wants to be in those top 5, but he wants to be at the top so he can be going last in that finals. The start order is somewhat of an advantage, would you say, Mason?
I definitely think so. Being able to go last is sometimes nerve-wracking, but also sometimes great because you get to have the last say in who wins.
There's a score coming in at 236.67 for Ani. That will put him safely through to the final.
Next up, we have Mateo Williams. Nick wants me to give a shout out to Nene and Grandpa John, Mateo's grandparents in New Zealand watching. They are stoked to see him throw down in the semifinal rounds, going straight for a blunt to the left to get things started, moving right into blunt to the right. Maybe not liking that one, but that's all right. He still has a ton of time on the board. There it is. Huge aerial blunt to the left. Mateo getting things started, maybe trying to get backwards for his next trick, going for that spin, just getting some smaller points on the board because he knows all he needs is a 200 to get into the next round. There he goes, going for that air screw to the left, staying retained, going for the Pan Am to the left. Now he's working up on his big tricks, and we're going to see a back Pan Am there. There it is, back blunt. Very nice, racking up some big scores, already over 450 points, going for that Pan Am again to the left. Wow.
Big ride for Mateo Williams. I think he should be really happy with that one. Just turned 18 yesterday, so probably watching for his behavior a little more now that he's got big boy jail to worry about.
Yeah, that was a super solid ride by Mateo. Look at all that air underneath his boat going straight into trick after trick. He has spent a good time here paddling over the years. It's always a joy to paddle Mateo. There it is. The turns green, straight into first place for Mateo. We will be seeing him in the finals later this afternoon.
Yeah,
Congrats.
not only a solid paddler, also a really nice kid, really smiley in the eddies. But next up we have Nanase Okazaki all the way from Japan in that sparkly blue carbon Gigi prod. Our only junior man, I guess with, he's got a carbon boat. Those carbon boats are light and strong. They go big and they are reactive.
Yeah, here is Nanaste's first ride. I bet Coach Kim Fontaine and Bartosz are watching. Here he goes, starting off with the spin to get oh my goodness, catching an edge. That is unlike Nanaste, but that's okay. That's why these athletes get two rides and one counts in the semifinals.
Yeah, Nanaste just has one more ride to score a minimum of 200 points. Otherwise, he will be walking home for now, already having that gold medal in his bag.
Yeah, definitely not what he wanted to get this semifinal campaign kicked off, but what he's going to have to do is have a short-term memory loss, forget about that ride, and just go back to what he knows.
And then next up we'll have Gail Beal from France. He's currently in the 5th place position. Not safe because Nanase still has a second ride. He could push him out. He's going to want to be moving up that scoreboard so he can hopefully be safe for finals. A really strong paddler, also in that carbon Gigi prod.
There he is in the wave, looking for a nice roundhouse to the right to get things started. He scored a 181 on his first ride, needs a 200 to guarantee a spot into finals. Is he going to throw it down? There it is with that beautiful blunt to the left. That's more like Gil that we know. There he goes, from that back Pan Am. Is he going to stay retained? No, he does not.
Just catching a bubble. That is really unfortunate. Just like a little bit unstable on top of the wave there, and then just losing it.
You know what that means, though? Walker Edens is in the finals.
That is huge. He's going to be super stoked on that. He is guaranteed at least top 5 in this competition, which is quite the impressive feat, considering we had such a strong showing from the junior men.
Yeah, Gil's definitely not too stoked, but as of right now, he is in the finals. It is all up to Nanaste now to see who can disrupt the order. There it is, Landon Miller. Next up, bib number 3, wearing that Red Bull makeshift helmet in the Jackson Kayak Rockstar, level 6 dry top and spray skirt. He's just waiting for the thumbs up to get in for his second ride of the semifinals. He is currently into second place. I know he wants to move onto the top of the leaders board so he can be last to paddle on.
Looks like he's thinking about that paddle spin, but just opting out of it as he catches the wave there. Looking for that blunt to the right, maybe Pan Am off the bat, setting up on the shoulder. He's already in the finals. He maybe wants to improve his score. Looking for that air screw right away, maybe Pan Am. I'm not really quite sure what happened there. Maybe just sat up too soon, spinning it around, looking for that flashback. Score already at 200 points this early on in his ride. Just
oh no,
plugging his stern there. That was quite the wild ride from Landon Miller. I don't think he'll be improving on his previous score of a 366.
Yeah.
But very impressive moves from Landon nonetheless.
Wow. Landon is full of surprises. Look at this slow-mo replay. Watch this. Going over vertical for that nice Pan Am. I am very surprised by Landon's K1 paddling. This kid is an all-around athlete, playing football as well as ripping it up in a kayak. That beautiful flashback there. Score bouncing around 216. Wow, Landon, you are too good at kayaking, buddy. This is great to watch you throw down in a K1 as well as C1. We will be seeing him later today in the C1 finals. He is currently sitting in third and second in third in OC1. So
their score comes in at 270 points. I think he'll stick with that first ride of 366, which is currently putting him in second place, right behind Mateo Williams. Ani coming in for his second ride, dropping in, catching that feature in the middle, looking for that blunt to the right off the bat, almost flushing there, but managing to stay retained. Maybe looking to set up a blunt in the other direction, super snappy, coming down, blunt again, maybe trying to get just those roundhouse points, trying to get backwards, set up for a nice back blunt from Ani, in the foam a little bit, see what the judges say. Trying to set up. We've seen him throw those bigger tricks. We know he can do it in that super light Apex watercraft.
Already besting his first ride score of 236 points, looking around 260 as of right now. So that won't move him up in the leaderboard, but it will improve his score ever so slightly. There's that beautiful blunt to the right, but nicely saving it. Yep, 260 points for Ani, keeping him in third place. All right, next up, Mateo Williams, his grandparents all the way from New Zealand watching. He is currently on top of the leaderboard right now with a solid score of 473 points. Here he goes.
He's got Nanase and the Eddie behind him, so he knows if he wants to stay on top, he's going to throw big. Or maybe Nanase won't throw big. Looking for that blunt right away, first pass. Blunt in the other direction, just getting points on the board. Starting with those smaller tricks, we've seen him throw some really nice big air screws. Looking for that flashback, coming down the wave. Spinning it around, looking for the flashback in the other direction. Maybe just some background hoses, I'm not quite sure. Trying to get back up there. Maybe looking for the air screw. Really big, nice moves. That was sweet. Not many of our juniors throwing air screws, but Mateo does not care. He's good enough. He's throwing those bigger tricks. Maybe looking for a blunt nasty. Really hard, challenging move. Just flushing off that shoulder.
Yeah, wow. What an amazing display of kayaking we just saw. Mateo throwing down, looking for that flashback there, but not getting the boat to get up to the angles that he wanted, but still a super solid score. 320 points for Mateo's first second ride. We are still just waiting for that to finalize. There is that beautiful replay of that air screw. Very nice trick by Mateo. He was looking for that blunt McNasty at the end of his ride. Maybe not getting it over the top of his head as he wanted to score that trick, but it'll be up to the judges. We are not judges. We are just commentators. There's that blunt McNasty and just washed out. Unfortunately, we're just waiting for the judges. There it goes, green. 370 points for Mateo's second ride. He is on top of the leaderboard, but this is it. Is Nanaste going to make finals? Is he going to pull it together?
Just getting the thumbs up from the judges. This is a lot of pressure on the young Japanese paddler. Can he pull it together? We've seen him throw some really big tricks. Maybe choosing to play it safe at the beginning. I guess we'll see.
Here he goes in the way for starting off. Clean blunt to the right to get things started. Clean blunt to the left. He is on his way. There he goes. Back roundhouse to the right. Is that going to be enough? He's still slightly under. He needs one more trick to make it in. Literally, oh, he is tied for that fourth place spot right now. Maybe looking for the next trick. Is he going to get it? Going for that air screw and sticking it. Very nice by Nonase. There he is. He is in his flow, going for that Pan Am, going for the Pan Am the other direction. There's no stopping this man now. Very nice ride by Nonase, pulling it together. Wow.
I gotta say, I was holding my breath. Just a super nice guy, really good paddler. Just want the best for him. And yeah, he knows how to pull it together when the pressure is on, when it matters most. Maybe not bringing him, we'll see what his score lands at, but probably only be bringing him to the top of that leaderboard for the moment. Mateo's score at 473.33. So Nonase will be through to the final, but not in the first place position.
Yeah, if it stays the same, he'll be moving into second. Yep, there he does. Moving into second place. So he is going not to be the last paddler to paddle. But, wow, we have an upset. Walker Edens is in finals. He is going to be stoked. This is his first ever international competition and walking away with the minimum of 5th place.
Straight out of the woodwork. That is super impressive. He is going to be super stoked on that. His brother and dad, I believe, are here with him. There's our junior men's semifinal final. First, we have Mateo Williams from New Zealand, 473 points. Second place, Nonase Okazaki, all the way from Japan, 393. Third place, Landon Miller, possible Red Bull athlete, 366 points. Ani Iranen from Finland, 260 points, and Walker Edens with 200 points. That is going to give us our top 5. Moving to the finals, we'll have Mateo Williams, Nonase, Landon, Ani, and Walker. Just missing the final by 19 points, we'll have Gale, and then we have Mateo Kowalczyk, Little Shredder from Idaho, and then Ian Cieslak, Cameron Lenhart, and Magnus Monson. Really strong showing from our junior men here today.
Yeah, that was some amazing paddling we saw. The future of freestyle is bright.
Yeah, super inspiring to watch these young guns just throw down.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then next we are moving straight into the women's semifinals. We have about 12 minutes till that gets kicked off. There we go.
Yeah.
And go and grab some breakfast, grab some coffee. This is going to be a full day of freestyle kayaking, so we'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you in 12 minutes.
Greetings all. Hi, my name is Ed Wolverton. I'm president of Uptown Columbus, and on behalf of our board of directors, as well as the board of the Business Improvement District, I want to welcome everyone to the ICF World Cups. When we were first awarded these competitions in June of 2021, Uptown quickly convened a group of 30 civic leaders to help plan, fund, and organize these competitions. What you're seeing this week is part of that big effort to make this happen for our community. We had three major goals as part of putting this together. One was for the competitions to be an economic development engine for our entire region. Secondly, to make this an extravaganza that everyone can enjoy. And lastly, we wanted to be sure to attract more people to Columbus and Phoenix City to raft, zipline, and enjoy our community. We appreciate you coming here, and we look forward to a great competition. Thank you all.
Hi, this is Columbus Mayor Skip Henderson, and I want to welcome you to the 2022 ICF International Kayak Competition. We are thrilled to have visitors join us from all over the globe. So if you're here competing or if you're here pulling for your favorite competitor, we hope you'll get an opportunity to enjoy some of the special things that make Columbus so unique. Welcome.
I'm Mayor Eddie Lowe of Positively Phoenix City, and we are so grateful that you have decided to join us here in Phoenix City as well as in Columbus, Georgia. We know without a shadow of a doubt that you will really have an enjoyable time that you've ever had. So thank you all so very, very much for joining us here in this wonderful regions of Positively Phoenix City and Columbus, Georgia.
Hey everyone, I'm Helena Coates. I am the co-chair of our committee that we've put together to welcome the entire world to Columbus, Georgia. So we're excited to have you. We can't wait to watch you in the river, and we can't wait for you to experience our wonderful community. Thanks for being here.
Yes. Hey, I'm Dan Gilbert with Whitewater Express. We are
All right, welcome back, folks, to the World Cup final here at Goodwave. We are now moving into the semifinals for the Senior Women's K1. Here in Heat 1, we're going to have Zofia Tula of Poland, Courtney Karen of New Zealand, Miki Sato of Japan, Heidi Walsh of Great Britain, and Anna Bruno of the United States. Joining me now is the one and only Hojo.
Oh, thank you, Zach. I'm looking forward to this. We just saw the junior men's going now. Right here is Zofia Tula of Poland taking the feature. She's looking to put down as many points as possible as we get this underway.
So starting right off the bat with a roundhouse to the right, looking to set something up the other way, not quite getting the pass here, spinning off to that right shoulder, unfortunately getting a bit of a plug and flushing off the back on her first ride.
That's right. And did you explain the format here?
So we are now at the semifinals, which means there are 2 rides, and only the best one of those 2 rides counts. So
that's right. In the quarterfinals, which the women didn't do, they'll do 3 rides and add 2, so you get a throwaway. You get 1 throwaway here as well, but only 1 other ride counts, and it's a much more stressful, tight competition. They do it. It goes really fast. There's only 10 of these paddlers. So it's going to be a pretty quick competition. Stick around afterward, too. We're going to do a little bit of a remembrance for one of these paddlers. And then we're going to roll straight into men's. It is a tight competition this morning. But now we see Courtney Kieran of New Zealand. Hello to Kev at home. We know you're watching. We're going to watch Courtney here throw down. She is a junior silver medalist from years ago back in New Zealand. She's been on the freestyle scene for years as she goes right for that roundhouse. Now, we wanted to remind people at home for scoring, those roundhouses and blunts on the forward side must end in a back surf as she fights onto the wave and she keeps it right there.
all right, she's coming back down for looking to get the blunt after getting the roundhouse to that right side. You can only score 1 move per side, so the blunt and roundhouse, although very similar, can be scored on the same direction. Going for the roundhouse the other way, possibly. Trying to set herself. She's choosing to use that surfer's left shoulder. Is a very different spot on the wave versus that right where she's at now. Looking to use that to throw for a donkey flip. Getting a little bit caught and pushing off the back, but that was a great first ride for Courtney Karen.
Yeah, right now sitting at 110 points. Again, she will have 2 chances. They will take only 5 paddlers into the finals later this afternoon. Because of the water having difficulty stabilizing yesterday, they decided to compress the morning up, so we have no real break. So we're going to roll right into men's after this. Just about a 15-minute break as if we were going between heats. There, Courtney's score settles out 110 points. So she is on the board now, still taking, she's going to run into the first place spot, but there's still plenty more to go. Nothing set yet as we now see Miki Sato of Japan.
All right, so she's dropping in the feature, looking to get that first pass. Not quite catching the edge she was looking for. There it is, going for that right blunt or roundhouse. Going for the blunt. That was definitely a blunt. So it's looking like a roundhouse and a blunt to the right. Going for the roundhouse the other direction. Let's see if she looks for that blunt or sets up for something backwards. Surfing up onto that surfer's right shoulder. Getting a little bit bounced up backwards, but she can make it back in. She's back in, going for one more pass here on the buzzer. Not quite getting it, but that was a great first ride again for Miki Sato. We've got two pretty even rides so far from 2 of our women.
Oh, and she is still on the feature, having a hard time getting off. Why not take a few little practices there? It's definitely, she's certainly out of energy, so she is just going to practice it up until this wave flushes her. I suspect she'll surf off now. They have a little bit of a prerogative there. Like, I'm on the feature, might as well throw some practice. Now, previous to this in the junior men's, Miki watched her compatriot, her fellow country member, take second place out of that. So she wants to be in there as well to have Japan represented in this class as well as the junior men's. And so we're just going to have to wait and see what her score settles at. It is climbing up a bit, so she has now climbed above Courtney's score. However, I suspect we're going to see scores in the 500 and 600 range, so they're going to have to definitely bring bigger second rides if they want to ensure their spot. However, it's still anyone's game.
Yeah, 100%. The ride scores are going to be very interesting. We actually saw in the junior men earlier this morning, a lot of us watching believed it was a slightly lower scores than we had expected from a lot of them going to this, and we're definitely hoping to see some much bigger rides as the day wears on. The wave was definitely looking a little different, and some of them definitely looked like they struggled a bit. We saw our Japanese paddler Nanase come very close to, on his first ride, unfortunately getting a flush, and then coming back real strong. But next up, we are now going to move on to Heidi Walsh of Great Britain.
Miki Sato taking the top, and now Heidi Walsh of Great Britain. She represents Great Britain very well in world competitions all over. She's setting up in that electric lemonade Jackson kayak. She's going to surf around, not really taking any first passes. Oh, and getting an edge. Can she retain the feature? Oh, she gets pumped up in the bottle. She has to fight, and she cannot make it. We saw this in the junior men's. We've already seen one woman here. This feature is just brutal if you get in the wrong spot. Heidi Walsh of Great Britain. She is a world kayak traveler as well.
Yeah, and I don't believe this is going to be the last time today that we see this. The wave has been punishing people extremely hard, especially on these semifinals where there is only 2 rides and you need to score one big ride to make it on. Your first ride, often for confidence, can be that really big confidence boost if you get the rides that you're looking for. Then you don't have to worry as much and you're just pushing higher for your second. But when you run into a situation like this where you unfortunately fall off the feature early in your first ride, you have one more left to go, and that's when the level of stress amplifies, and you need to be in full control of that situation.
That's correct. Now next up we're going to see Anna Bruna of the US. Anna did not make the first World Cup. She was in France at a big paddle sports expo, but she did come out here to compete in squirt boat, taking a medal, and onto this women's class here in the surface competition. Anna is a wonderful paddler, strong paddler. She's also helping us out here in the commentating, so you'll hear her later today. Matter of fact, I think just after this, she's going to run up here and start commentating. So it's going to be just fine for her as she is now hunting around for that start of her ride as she gets underway.
Yeah, she's surfing down in that trough, looking to get up on that shoulder for a pass. There's a nice pass here, going for the beautiful blunt to the right, spinning it around, searching for the top of the feature once again, going backwards for a backstab, managing to retain it, trying the other direction, not quite getting that pass, but that's all right. She's already got some good points on the board as she looks to set up with 17 seconds, 15 seconds left on the clock.
That's right, Anna is really good at clock management. She's competed a lot around here. She can see the clock as well as she does a nice air blunt to the right, trying to back it up for a back blunt to her right as well. Looking for maybe the Felix there. We'll see if she comes back and gets this. Right now her score is going to sit her well up into the second place spot, maybe even threaten first. She's only 8 points off with that score, but it is not final.
100%, and here in the replay we see her go for that first right blunt. And now here in the foam pile right there, this wave is extremely rough, extremely violent. You see a lot of people searching for either shoulder. I know many people watching will understand why those shoulders are so important, but do you want to explain a little bit more on that?
That's right. So the shoulder basically has the water coming up the sides where it's a little calmer. It does present a flush challenge, but it's not quite as boily where they can run into the shoulder and sort of point themselves down into the middle of the feature. And if they get into the middle of the feature, make that pop as she's coming sort of from the middle to the shoulder on that one, then they can ride back up into that foam pile, arrests all of their energy, where you can see right there, she gets up into that fast water, and that's what caused her to flush on that last Felix attempt.
Yeah, they are a risky spot to throw, but essential to making your way for back up to the top for that pass.
All right, back up to the top now. Zofia Tula of Poland. She has paddled all over the world. She is a very talented paddler. Unfortunately, she's just not going to bring it today, and we understand why. Zofia's just having a hard time here at this competition, and so that's going to take it for her out of this competition. Zofia Tula of Poland, but she has just a laundry list of medals. She was the silver medalist in Sort World Cup in 18, gold medalist in Sort in 18, and the overall winner of that World Cup. She was also the World Cup silver medalist, overall World Cup in Argentina, taking 2 silver medals off of that one. She's been the European champion 21, 18, and 14. Or she's been in the European Championships, medaling silver 21, bronze 18, bronze 14. So this is not the last we shall see of Zosha, as we now look to Courtney Kieran of New Zealand. Courtney coming to us. She has, like many people, not been on the scene for a while. It was very unfortunate we didn't get to see her and paddle with her, and we are super stoked now to see her come here all the way from New Zealand back into the United States to compete. She is here traveling in a van down by the river with her partner Danny. They are just having a blast as she takes this feature and puts down her second ride.
Yeah, she is back and showing us exactly what she can do on this good wave, looking for that right roundhouse. Definitely a very popular starting trick that we've seen here today this morning. Nice and safe to get yourself some points. Going for the blunt to the left, managing to retain it, cartwheeling out of it and staying within the feature.
That was really risky there. She roundhouses to the right again. She's not getting very good pop on this wave this morning, so we'll see what she can produce in this ride. She's riding up on the foam pile, managing to maintain the feature, though, the full time so far. She's under 10 seconds to go. She still can put big points down with one big blunt or Pan Am. Can she do it with 1 second left? On the buzzer, beautiful blunt to the left, putting air underneath. That's going to bump her score up. Currently 110. Looks like this is going to better her score just by a little bit, but it might not be enough to take her to finals.
Yeah, and we saw as she claimed it, she's happy regardless of the results here. She is just a all-smiles paddler. We've seen her, she's pretty well known on the microphone on here at the live event. And yeah, we're seeing in the replay, there is that nice first, could have been a blunt to the right there. So the blunt and the roundhouse, the main difference is how vertical you can get the stern. Blunt is, your stern goes 45 degrees to 90 degrees, and a roundhouse is anything underneath that 45-degree mark. Both of them score points. It's just how many points do you get for that?
All right, next up, Miki Sato of Japan. She is coming in here right now, holding down the first place spot with 128 points as she's going to hunt around for this ride. This is her second ride. Again, only 2 rides. It's really heart-wrenching format when you see a flush, but she is got a points down, so she's looking for that roundhouse, fighting it back into that shoulder, coming back into the middle. She's going to fight back over to this right side where she hopes to get a really solid pass, putting down a roundhouse to the right as well. Not really producing any sort of high-powered moves yet. We've seen some of these paddlers, however, throw 300 points in the last 5 seconds of their ride, and there is a nice air blunt to the right.
Yeah, so there she is. She's kicking it off, finally finding the pass that she was looking for, going for potentially a back roundhouse. Looking to set something else backwards, possibly another roundhouse. She might have been looking for the blunt. She goes for one last minute, possibly nice air blunt to the left there to wrap up her second ride.
Well, this isn't going to really change her score much for this semifinal. It's gonna situate her with 128 points off her first ride. She'll have to see what happens in the next round as we now roll into Heidi Walsh. Now, Heidi Walsh of Great Britain, as we were saying earlier, she has represented her team many times before in World Championships. She was even an alternate way back in 2015, and what that means is she's kind of old. No, she's not old. She was 12th in this previous Worlds in Nottingham as she bubbles up and over, and unfortunately for Heidi, not having the rides she wants. This is the power of that feature as she was start to establish. It just surged up underneath her, and there's not a lot you can do about that. It's not a skill thing. It literally is chance.
Yeah, 100%. Even the ferry across out to the middle of the feature can be tough, especially here. We saw yesterday some really big challenges, especially in the single-bladed disciplines of C1 and OC1 to get out on that feature, and now we're seeing it happening in K1 kayak this morning. You're actually seeing, I believe that wave has been greening out a lot more this morning than I've been accustomed to seeing it over the this past week. We'll have to see how the paddlers manage it, adjust their strategies to match this feature.
That's right. Now, Heidi was 8th in the UTS Trophy a couple weeks ago, 11th in Europeans. As I said, she was 12th in World Championships. I expect we'll see her on this feature in 1 year's time for the World Championships. Heidi may not be happy with herself right now, but you know what? what's going to happen here in a few days. She's going to get on a plane and go to Nepal.
Wow.
And I guarantee you that's going to alleviate all woes and stress as she gets to paddle in some of those beautiful places in the world. But right now, up now, Anna Bruno of the U.S. She's helping us commentate. Paddling out here, already has a medal in squirt as she takes her second ride, currently sitting in third place.
Catches a bit of an edge there, window shading, but manages to retain, showing how reactive she can be in this feature. Looking to set something up, surfing down in the trough, trying to use that shoulder to get up on the wave. You're looking for that nice pass. There is a possible roundhouse to maybe a roundhouse, depending if she cleared the foam pile enough. Roundhouse the other direction, scoring all the little points, but all the little points matter, especially today in this semifinals.
That's right. She is just about over with her ride. 10 seconds left. She can hear this buzzer that goes off at 10 seconds. Nice back blunt to the right. Backing it up. Another one. She thought maybe I'll put some more air under that as she's putting more points down, and she has 1 second left. Oh, she can't pull anything major off of that pass. I suspect she was looking for something like a Pan Am, so she is going to keep her first ride score of 108 points, and that will be what sets her on the board for the remainder of this competition.
Yeah, and I believe that wraps up the first heat with their second rides. It's been very interesting so far to see what kind of points they're able to put in with those two rides. But next up, we will have in 15 minutes our second heat of these semifinals with Hitomi Takaku of Japan, Audley Robinson-Shaw of Great Britain, Abby Holcomb of the United States, Darby McAdams of the United States, and Emily Jackson, also of the United States.
That's right. And Audie, the current world champion, Abby, the current junior world champion, Emily, former world champion. This is going to be a really exciting one. Hitomi, also a former world champion. I believe she took in 19 the senior women's. So all of these women, we have multiple world champions up here. I believe Darby McAdams is actually the only one, but she told me the other day, she goes, you know what, I don't do whole competitions. It's what we have a lot of these on. She goes, I'm a wave snob. She admitted it. She held her head in sort of prideful shame. I don't know what prideful shame is, but she did it. She pulled it off. And we look forward to great things from these women here. So, as Zach mentioned, we're under 15 minutes to the next heat of this women's semifinal here at the 2022 World Cup on Good Wave.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are just a few minutes off of our next, which is our men's semifinals here. We just wrapped up our women's semifinals. Nope, that's my bad. We're going up next to the women's semifinals. I am looking at the wrong part of this paper, but that is okay. We've still got all day.
Welcome back, Zach. I'm Hojo here. I'm the commentator coordinator here with Zach from Canada. He was actually court-ordered to have to announce. It's part of his parole.
It's the only way I'm allowed out of this country.
No, unfortunately, we did get Zach to come and really give us great help here on the announcing. Owing to an injury, but he is all good in here and supporting us great. But right now, Hitomi Takaku of Japan, she is going to come down and throw a huge routine for us. She just watched her fellow. She's actually looking to knock off her fellow compatriot, unfortunately. Miki right now sitting in first place spot. Also in the junior men's, a Japanese paddler has qualified there, so just awesome.
Yeah, so
her nickname is Robot Girl.
Robot Girl.
And I know they pronounce in Japanese Roboto.
But yeah, currently holding the top spot of the first heat is Miko Sato of Japan with a 128.33. So all of these paddlers are looking to top that score to make it into the finals later today. But here she comes, Hitomi Takaku, dropping into the feature for her first ride.
All right, she is going to line up for this pass. We'll see what she has for us. Oh, unfortunately catches a little bit of a bow, a little bit of a stern. She's still in the feature. If she can roll, she is still up there. What a wonderful recovery. Holy cow, it just shows you the power of that water. And there she goes in for her first roundhouse. She's trying to clean it up, but she does not get that back surf completed. And now there's the back roundhouse with the front surf as she's putting points on the board. 30 points right off the bat. She's going to back it up. Beautiful back roundhouse the other direction. Putting air into that boat. There's that right blunt with air. She's starting to put plenty of points on the board as she's settling into her routine, but she does have only about 5 seconds left.
Yeah, so there she is showing us exactly what she can do in the last half of her ride, throwing a left blunt or roundhouse right on the buzzer to settle the score. Hopefully push that there. It is just over the 200 mark. If that settles at around that score, I am pretty sure we are about to see her later today in the finals, regardless of her second ride.
That is correct. Any paddler now in this heat who puts themselves in the first place spot will automatically qualify. The bottom 5 people can do nothing to change the score. Therefore, anyone who goes into the first place spot bumps one off of that list. However, any of these 5 paddlers who come in anywhere under first place spot have not secured themselves a position, and so this will put her into finals with this ride as the score stands. Unfortunately, that means Heidi Walsh will be bumped off. She's currently in the 5th place spot, and there we have it, 208 points. We will see her in finals this afternoon, but next up now from UK, we have Audie Robinson-Shaw.
Yeah, so Audie is definitely no stranger to competition. She's here from the UK after taking a sweep of gold medals earlier this year in Nottingham at the World Championships, and she's looking to do it again here in Columbus. She's dropping in for her first ride, looking to set something up on that surfer's left shoulder. Sitting around somewhere in the trough, looking for that first pass, trying to find something again. They just need to be scoring over the 128 mark to put it in, and we know that she's capable of it. But this feature has been very punishing, so we're hoping to see everybody here do their best. There is a amazing back Pan Am. That should get her right up there on the points. Looking to set something up, maybe going for the back Pan Am the other way. Definitely something I've seen her do a lot so far at this competition. It seems to be one of her specialities here on these waves. Looking to do the back Pan Am the other direction, but a Pan Am requires air, so it looks like the judges did not see that air that they were looking for and did not score her that point.
So right now, she is our current world champion. She already has medals in the first World Cup in this category, medals in the Seaboat category, she's got and gold, all of these gold, by the way, a gold medal in the Squirt Boat category, and right now she is absolutely threatening the top spot with her score if it stands. So let's take a look here. 280 points will definitely put her over Hitomi's, and that will guarantee her into finals.
Yeah, she's definitely on track and looking for another gold sweep. 2 in a row in 1 year would be a very, very impressive feat. I actually don't know if we've seen that from any paddler, if that happens at all in history of this sport. There it is, looking at that beautiful back Pan Am, getting all the air. Setting up, looking for something. She had a nice pass there, but decided to pass it up, not take the risk. Seems to lock in at 270 points, putting her up in the first place position.
All right, so what we expect from Audie Robinson-Shaw, and right after her, Abby Holcomb. This is the current junior world champion, and these two women are great friends. They travel all over the world together, paddling, doing competitions, supporting each other. Right now they are competitors, but they all want everyone to do well as Abby comes down and takes the feature. She's going to run in now, looking for that first pass. And what is she going to give us?
So starting off with a left roundhouse. Again, as we mentioned, it seems like it's been a very popular move to go for that left roundhouse right off the bat, going for the blunt the same direction. Now the backstab the other way as she spins herself back forward, looking for the next trick.
Abby looking for a nice pop there to have to end in that front surf. She cartwheels out of it. This is not a very good ride for her at this moment. She's going to put some points on the board. Look at 126 points. That's going to slot her right around the third place spot. If it goes up, if she gets into the third place spot, she'll actually be guaranteed as well, because she will be taking the top spot with other paddlers in this heat already above her. So we'll have to see. 126. Okay, Abby is not safe. She's in fourth place spot. That means that Darby or Emily can come in and knock Abby down into the sixth place position. So Abby is going to absolutely have to come back and make a much better run of it.
Yeah, and speaking of our next paddler here, Darby McAdams of the United States dropping in again. She's a very experienced wave boater, loves playing around on these features, starting it off with that left roundhouse, going with a beautiful aerial Pan Am to the left. That was absolutely stunning. Trying to set up the other direction, accidentally turning it into a McNasty. We'll see if they end up counting that or not. It came around very cleanly. She's trying to set something up here. Again, something the judges do look for is intent. So if you do end up throwing something and they believe that it wasn't intentional, they won't score it as that trick, regardless of the trick existing. But it does look like the points are going up, so it seems like they may still be deliberating on that trick. We will have yet to see here as she side surfs her way to one of the shoulders, trying to set up for her next big trick. Looks like she's going for the helix here, spinning it around into a beautiful flashback, which is a spin into a back blunt. Easy to get those clean bonuses on that trick. That was a beautiful first ride for Darby McAdams.
That's right. So 178 points will also lock her into a final spot. It will clearly knock Miki Sato and Abby Holcomb down, which is then the only one left with a say in this round for this ride will be Emily Jackson. Now they will all have second rides, so Abby Holcomb will still have a chance to come and put her name back on the board. But right now we're going to look for Miss Emily Jackson of the United States. She, you just can't say enough about how much of a competitor she is in freestyle. This whole family and everyone here today, of course. But Emily has multiple championships, Creek racer, and she's a mother too, to boot. I mean, she's raising a family, running the Jackson Kayak marketing team, so she is way busy when she starts out with a huge air blunt to the right, back air blunt to the right. As she's setting down straight away a blunt to the right with air, she's saying, I'm going to put down a big score here. I'm going to put myself into finals. First ride, no doubts about it, as she's back blunting off to the left there, putting air into that. Right now, 270 points. If she bests that, she's in finals. All these paddlers will have one more ride to resort what's in finals, and there's that clean blunt to the left, holding that paddle way out of the water. Maybe looking for clean there too, but just not getting the paddle up. Sitting at 263, she has under 10 seconds to go. Can she bring a giant Pan Am here? Oh, looking for the helix. Not getting there, and the time has expired. They might give her a sidekick for that. I doubt it. 276 right now. Again, this score will lock her into the finals. So it is now all up to Abby Holcomb. Can she come back around and put herself onto that top 5, or is she going to let Miki Sato from the first heat go on through? This is incredibly exciting, and it's so difficult for the first heat to watch as they see their names tick off that list.
Yeah, and there we're seeing her showing us exactly how to throw down on this wave. She goes for a left backstab. Not quite getting a lot of air on that replay. Let's see if they show one of the bigger tricks here. And the other thing, we saw her going for a helix, which has been one of the more, what I've noticed, one of the more challenging tricks to initiate on this feature. The thing is with the helix is you have to side surf down the wave to get that pop. And this wave is very boily. It's very unpredictable. It is very risky to try to slide down sideways. We've seen a bunch of people catching in some edges. So seeing Emily try some here, and we've seen a couple other women try some here, has been absolutely incredible. But we're moving back up to the top of this heat for their second and final rides of these semifinals. Hitomi Takaku of Japan. She is already guaranteed a spot, but she wants to put herself as high up on that scoreboard as possible, so she goes in latest in the finals heat.
All right, Hitomi establishing now. She can throw big moves if she wants to. She is just going to hunt around looking for these passes. Safe, but probably not happy. Looping out of that, unfortunately catching that bow. That's going to be for her second ride. Not what she wanted, but she's sitting in a really nice spot.
Yeah, we will see her regardless later today in the finals. But look at that control. You know, she plugged her nose by accident as it caught on that feature. And the first thought wasn't to, oh no, I need to fix this, was, nah, let's just go for a loop here. That's doable on this wave.
I call those rescue loops.
Rescue loops, yes.
You see rescue loops and you see rescue minor air screws in the holes where they sort of do just a really rapid back deck roll. It's the actual form of an air screw, and it keeps them on the feature. And it's one of those things where it's they can absolutely pull these techniques out to keep them on the wave. Next up, Audrey Robinson-Shaw, current world champion, current World Cup point holder at this point in time. She has wanted to hunt her way much higher up the list. As we watch her come on down.
All right, she's looking for that bubble to try to get out on that first wave to ferry out. It's a very important ferry. That shoulder is very wide and very flushy. You really want to get out to the middle to catch this feature. Looking to set something up, not quite getting the pass right off the bat. Another attempt here. Looking like she's going for that first blunt or roundhouse. There is, we looked for an air screw. That was awesome.
Oh, beautiful air screw. Puts her right to the top of the bubble. She fights right back in. Looks like they're only giving her the donkey flip for it, unfortunately. But that's still points on the board. She comes for a huge back Pan Am to the right. She is wanting to get that top score of 290 or better.
Yeah, back Pan Ams have been something we've seen from her a lot at this competition. There is going for the blunt McNasty, not pulling it around. We'll see if she goes for it one more time here. Oh, looking to possibly go for that helix again, going for the back Pan Am the other direction. That was beautiful. Yeah, we saw her throwing, I think we saw her being one of the few people actually throwing completely aerial back Pan Ams in C1 up earlier on ambush earlier this week.
And we'll see her doing the absolute same hopefully here this afternoon in C1. Definitely right at the end, bringing the points, 361 points. That's going to put her right to the top. So now Abby, Darby, and Emily still have a chance to knock her down. However, that was a commanding performance. Audrey Robinson-Shaw just showing how much work she has put into this sport. And now Abby knows what the bar is. She is in 6th place. She is not in finals at this moment. So she is fighting for her chance to compete for a medal.
So she needs a score of just over 128 to qualify her. Unfortunately, earlier in that previous run, she ended up falling off on a flush, but she's starting it off strong right now with 51 points on the board right off the bat.
Abby looking for these passes. They're staying on these shoulders, as we talked about. They're a little safer, but they don't give you quite as much power. So she's going to turn it sideways. Nice back blunt, possibly putting air. I don't think maybe enough air for the judges. They're really strict on this.
Looks like those points are racking up as she throws for the roundhouse to the right. Looking for the back roundhouse, flushing off the back of the feature, but that's all right. As long as the score does not settle down in the downwards direction, that should put her up in those top 5 spots.
That's right. Right now, the 5th spot, 128 points. 170 was very much going to put her in there. Matter of fact, she's actually threatening the 4th place spot at 178. So you can see on that scoreboard, Abby is going to qualify through probably in the 5th place spot. The judges can still go back and fiddle with that. It can go up, it can go down, so long as that score is red. It has not been submitted properly.
Yeah, and here we're seeing in the replay again as she's looking for that pass to get some of those big scoring tricks. It is a very tricky feature here with such a big pushy foam pile behind you. The score locking it at 165, dropping her into 5th place. We will see her again later today with the other top 5.
That's right, and so we have final set. We don't know the order quite yet. There's 2 more paddlers that can change the order. One, and right here, Darby McAdams in this carbon Gigi prod boat. She told me earlier, I'm a wave snob, I love waves, and she surfs waves much larger than this as she starts in for that beautiful blunt to the left. And so for her to come out to a wave competition has been very happy for her. She has to come all the way out from the Washington State area working for World Class Academy, so she's one of the instructors there, teaching kayaking, teaching school lessons to kids, into the helix. Can she maintain it? And she does.
Yeah, we're hearing the cheering from the crowd. It is so loud we can hear it through our headsets here. She goes into that spin, maybe getting a little bit of clean on there, looking for maybe the helix the other direction, spinning around into a flashback, just falling off the back of the wave. But that's going to be a mighty ride for Darby here, as this should bump her up at least 1 slot.
That's right. So improving her spot, as we said, it's not settled until the last paddler goes. And she is having a say over this, putting down a much higher, not a much higher score, but a higher score to set her into a better spot in finals. And tell us about finals. What are we going to see for the ride format there?
Yeah, so finals, we are going to be adding 1 ride to the mix. You will now see 3 rides. It is still the best ride counts. So throughout the competition, you see a combination of 2 ride counts and then moving on to 1 ride counts. This ensures that the paddlers that make it through to the end are not only just powerful in those single rides, but we're able to maintain consistency. It really evens out the playing field early on and then allows these paddlers to shine with the best possible ride they can pull off, trying to beat every record possible in the finals.
That's correct. And there we watch the end of Darby's ride. This is going to bring us now to the last paddler in this heat, Ms. Emily Jackson. Jackson Kayak, I believe Warner paddles. She does it all.
Yeah, she's a very experienced wave boater. I actually believe I learned a lot of my wave tricks watching her and her brother in some of the old Jackson videos on the Nile.
All right, setting it up. She's going to roundhouse, back roundhouse out, front roundhouse, blunts. Those look like blunts to me, and they are scoring as blunts. As she backs it up, popping for a huge Pan Am. She can come and take this top spot away from Audie as she cleans up a spin. That's an extra 10 points on a spin, so it becomes a 20-point spin. And again, now she is striking 61 points away as she goes for that clean roundhouse to the left, backing it up. Can she put those helixes down, which will definitely put her score up and above? She has plenty of time left if she can just settle in for this pass. And here we go into that helix attempt. That might not have scored. She's going to want to probably go get it again. And she knows this. She's got just 4 seconds left. She does a paddle twirl on the buzzer, 418 points. She's taking over first place spot. If this score settles, Emily Jackson will be taking top honors into finals where no scores matter from this round, but placing does. So tell us why that last place spot matters.
Yeah, so after the random seed of the qualifiers, every round going forward goes in reverse order. So whoever qualifies in the top spot goes last in that round. So in this case, we saw Emily in the qualifiers finish on the top spot, and that's why we're seeing her go last here in the heats of semifinals. And we'll see her go last again here in the finals. This gives the paddler an opportunity to study the paddlers coming ahead of them. It gives them that last. They get the final say in the competition on what the placements are, if they're in the top, and where they place.
That's right. Just like right here toward the end of her ride, she probably could tell if she, in her head, if she thought what scored. She knew where she was. I mean, doing a paddle tour. Let's wait till we can see this. I don't know if she just dropped her paddle. Oh, take that off. That's unfortunate. We're not going to see the paddle twirl. There it is right there. Oh.
Just behind the scoreboard.
I think she did it on purpose, though. I don't know if she dropped it.
I believe so. I think it was an intentional calculated. I've got the points. Let me just throw something entertaining for the crowd.
All right, so there it is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a moment here. We're going to go silent. We had, unfortunately, Zosia Tula, who is in this round. Her sister passed away, unfortunately, and very unexpectedly. Alicia in Poland. We're going to take a moment of silence here. We're going to take a moment of silence on the live stream in remembrance of her sister and in honor of these paddlers. It is an unfortunate aspect of life, and so we'll take a moment.
Welcome back, everybody. We are just minutes out from the men's semifinals here on Good Wave this morning. It has been a little bit of a cooler morning, which we as the announcers up here are quite thankful for. We haven't had to use the fan yet to cool us down, but the day has just started and the sun is shining on this feature here. So I am joined by Anna Bruno.
Hey Zach, how's it going?
Not too bad. I believe we just saw you out on the water earlier this morning.
Yeah, just competed in the women's semi-final myself. Unfortunately not making the cut to the top 5, but we have 10 more athletes here from the men's class who will be looking to make it into one of those top 5 spots for themselves for their final later this evening.
Yeah, and those paddlers here in the first heat will include Robert Crow of Great Britain, Luke Pomeroy of Canada, Gavin Barker of Great Britain, Alan Ward of Great Britain, and wrapping up our first heat, Visa Rakola of Finland.
That's right. So for all of these athletes here, it's 2 rides, 1 counts. So a single best score to try and make it into one of those top 5 spots. This is considered by many paddlers, I think, to be one of the toughest rounds because there's a lot less margin for error. However, what you want to see, right, so your early rounds, the preliminary rounds, kind of reward consistency. Who can have a high 2 rides combined score? The men also had quarterfinals, still rewarding that consistency. And now we want to see who can go big, who can get into finals, who's got the potential to throw down one single big ride score. So yesterday we saw some competitors kind of playing it safe. This is not the round to play it safe, and that means that we should have some exciting rides coming up. Right now, dropping into the wave of Great Britain from Nottingham, HPP, Rob Crow.
Yeah, so he's just catching the feature for his first ride, looking to set something up, going for the air screw to the left, the first trick on the board. Looks like they are giving him potentially a donkey flip on that.
Yeah, Rob's struggling to keep the bow dry on that first air screw, but that second one, beautiful textbook air screw as he goes right into that next series of his routine.
Yeah, and you see the score reflect that second one, going for the beautiful Pan Am to the left. Spinning around looking for the clean backstab, also called a flashback when you spin into it. A beautiful back Pan Am. That's going to reward with some massive points. Going for the back Pan Am the other direction. Almost retaining the feature. Yes, he is back in. 2 seconds left. What can he do for us? Going for the potentially clean roundhouse. We'll see what they give on that. But an absolutely fantastic first ride for Robert Crow.
Yeah, Rob's struggling a little bit with the consistency yesterday, and so this round, I'm excited to see him go big, get points on the board. We're going to be looking to see scores between, I'm going to say, 900 and 1,500, right, for those top 5 spots. And so athletes are going to know, I think 800 right now, we're seeing the live scores come in, still flashing. It's going to be a really solid first place to start, but athletes are going to be wanting to push it around that 1,000-point mark.
Yeah, but definitely anything is possible today here on Good Wave because we've already seen scores that were not nearly as high as we were expecting. We've seen a lot of crazy, unfortunate flushes that we were not expecting at all. So even in this men's category, anything is possible here as we move on to one of the big wave boaters here out of Canada, sponsored by Level 6, Luke Pomeroy.
That's right, Luke, so ecstatic to make this top 10 here yesterday. And I think he was saying, they ended up moving the start times of everything back today. And Luke was like, I have so much time this morning. What am I going to do? And so, it is a bit stressful for athletes trying to fill that time before the competition, keeping your head in that right mindset. And I am just excited to see what Luke has to show for us here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if he's going to start it off with some of those side kicks that we saw yesterday. I think he's the only paddler to be bothering with those tricks, but they were rewarding with some absolutely huge points.
And just straight style,
100%.
See, I think it's one of those moves for Luke where it's like you find his little routine and flair. Yep, there it is, that classic side kick. We'll see if the judges choose to reward that today. I'm not seeing anything. Yep, well, maybe a little trophy one there, going right into an air screw. Air screw the other direction. Luke immediately kind of back into that side serve with that rudder, carving around, setting up, getting some spin points on the board before going for that back blunt, maybe a clean back blunt, right into a Pan Am. Moving just edge to edge so fluidly and easily. Going for the helix, maybe a felix. One of the higher scoring points on the score sheet when done right. Going for a clean roundhouse. And then trying to back it up for a back Pan Am, maybe a back blunt. We will see what that does. Solid first ride from Luke.
Yeah, definitely. We did see him take a little more time than I believe he would have wanted to between his catching the feature at the beginning and going for his first trick, which was that side kick there, that classic Luke Pomeroy move. But already pretty solid ride for his first, and he's got one more to go.
That's right. You know, Luke not quite getting the amplitude that we're used to seeing from some of his tricks on that ride. You know, choosing to play it a little bit conservative, but still strong first ride from Luke. And I know that he's got the potential to go a lot bigger on all of those tricks.
Yeah, and playing it a little conservative is fully understandable after, especially if you have watched some of the rides earlier today. We saw people try to go real big right off the bat, not quite hit it, and then the scores for the cut not being as high as we were originally anticipating. So having a first potentially slightly more conservative but still great ride on that first run, and then coming out with an absolute banger in the second ride could make all the difference.
Yeah, you know, there's so much strategy here. And it's easy to be like, oh, we're just going kayaking. But, you know, it does really take knowing the score sheet, putting a ride plan together, knowing how to maximize your 45 seconds on the wave, knowing which tricks are your base tricks, which ones you're most consistent at throwing, which tricks are a bit more of a gamble, you might flush on those tricks, and really kind of knowing, hey, where and how do I rack up the points to be competitive? So...
Exactly. We saw that style of calculating point accumulation, that we'll call it, in Emily Jackson's last ride earlier.
Oh,
in the
she's
women's.
a pro.
Yes, she's extremely experienced. Luke's ride coming in at a 791, not quite getting himself above Robert Crow, but that's only his first ride here as we move on to our third competitor of this heat, Gavin Baker.
Gav Barker out of Nottingham, Great Britain. Gav working with the YMCA out of Nottingham, helping bring youth into the outdoors. So Gav starting things off with an air screw, going right for the air screw the other direction. Gav, one of the more unique paddling styles out there, but such a powerful paddler as he goes for that Pan Am and unfortunately flushes. Oh my goodness. So there you go, Zach. That just goes to show, as we were saying, it is a challenging feature and anything can happen. You go really big, what the wave might not respond in kind. But yeah, still Gav getting, you know, solid points on the board with two of those really high-scoring tricks, three of those really high-scoring tricks off the bat before catching that unfortunate edge and flushing.
Yeah, so that'll be it for his first run. We'll definitely see him coming back in force on his second. Still considering the early flush, a 430 means that we know that he still had so much time to put more. We know that he can double, if not more, on that first ride.
Yeah, we saw Gav scores around the 800, 900 point mark yesterday, and he'll be looking to get back to that. But right now, this is Team GB again. Alan Ward.
Yeah, Team GB coming here in force in the semifinals. 4 paddlers in semifinals out of 10. Absolutely fantastic from Team GB here as Alan Ward drops in for his first ride.
Strong showing. Alan starting things off with an air screw to the right, air screw to the left. I may have gotten my rights and lefts wrong on there. Please do forgive me. Going into the Pan Am, showing us the bottom of that carbon boat. Alan also catching that flush. So you're seeing here, I'm curious to see where Alan's score stacks up, because that should place him almost identical with teammate Gav Barker, right? Air screw, Pan Am, flush. And so what's happening here is you're seeing a lot of paddlers kind of lose sense of where they are on the feature, start working a little bit further towards that green or shoulder, and just unfortunately, you know, falling prey to good wave here.
Yeah, heartbreak shoulder, as we may have called it a few times already, is proving exactly why we gave it that nickname.
So Alan coming in slightly lower, 360, maybe not getting a huge bonus for one of those tricks, or maybe not fully scoring one of them. So we are not the judges. They are sitting at different angles. But oh my goodness, pressure is on. And next up, our current silver medalist from Ambush, Visa Rakola of Finland.
Yeah, the Finnish experienced on big waves. They have their own big wave season early in the spring every year. He's starting off with a beautiful left blunt going into a beautiful left back blunt the other way, cleaning it up for the right side there, looking to set up. It's amazing to see how he can just kick the boat up with very little speed going down. He can sit in the bottom and just out of nowhere, just boom, big air.
Such a stylish little hop he gives off the side rail of his boat, just underneath his bump there. really using his hips and legs to generate that power. You know, a lot of people watching kayaking think it's all upper body, and it is not. Oh, Visa still retaining the feature. Oh my goodness. How did he pull that off? Huge back Pan Am to follow up that potential flush, and then we'll see if they chose to give him that before flushing off the wave. So still, as we're saying, lower ride scores happening today.
Yeah, and this is why I was mentioning that sometimes that strategy of going a little more conservative, whether it's intentional or not, can still be rewarding, as we still currently coming into our, I believe that was the last paddler of this heat, going back up to the top with Robert Crow. We're going to see Luke and Rob still high up there with a good lead at the moment.
But none of these paddlers are safe because we still have one more heat of 5 men, all trying to earn those top 5 spots. So Visa, the airplay of that air screw, they're landing a little bit wide, but straightening it out. Just a really strong wave boater here, and you can just see, as you said, Zach, has the ability to throw those tricks, get that amplitude from even the bottom of the wave, not having to wait for that green pass, which is important on a wave with this much foam.
Exactly, and the entertaining thing about a wave like this with this much foam and the color of his gear is yesterday during some of the later runs, we actually sometimes lost his boat in the foam. We were like, oh, where'd Visa go?
Yeah, he's hard to see. I bet it matches the icy waters of Finland.
Exactly,
Yeah.
score coming in at a 550.
Strong, you know, good. I mean, decent points on the board for an early flush. I think also Visa's teammate Oni taking silver in the juniors and the earlier ambush competition. So Finland, just a strong showing this week here at this World Cup.
And we're already going to be seeing Oni later today in the junior men's finals.
Fantastic. But right now, all eyes on Britain's Rob Crow. So Rob going for that air screw, keeping his bow nice and high, but that was a lucky save, Rob. As he goes right into the next one, landing just a little bit sideways. We'll see if the judges choose to reward that, spinning it around as he looks for the back blunt, but not quite getting the edge. He'll be going back to repeat that trick. There we go. A back blunt, struggling to get clear of the foam as he tries for the back Pan Am the other direction.
Scary, almost flush there as he's still working. He's still choosing to play on that surfer's right shoulder, which can be very rewarding. He likes to green out, but also randomly crashes on you, and we've seen some people accidentally loop out of it. There was a air screw, trying to rack up some extra points here as time runs out. Going for the potential.
It looked like he was going to try for that blunt McNasty, and unfortunately just couldn't quite get his bow under him.
Yeah,
a move that he just does so well.
I think if it had come around, it would have almost been a Pan Am McNasty.
Yeah, look at that. Textbook, beautiful air screw. Almost hold a hull, and then unfortunately just followed by that window shade.
Yeah, his current score racking up at the moment just under 600 points. I don't believe this is going to best his first ride. I think he's going to be relying on that first ride of 863 to bring him up into finals later today.
Yeah, so Rob is sitting right where he wants to be sitting, right? He wants to be in that number 1 spot. He might have wished his scores were higher, but number 1 is number 1. And so that is going to be important. But we still have 4 more paddlers here to go in this heat. Rob's second ride, 603.33.
Yeah, that number 1 spot is extremely important because if you're in that spot, you only need to kind of cross your fingers, not in a bad way, that one paddler from the next heat does mess up, because that's only one paddler needs to mess up for you to make it up. The further down you are at the end of the first heat, the more paddlers you need to hope don't get that great of ride in the later heats. Next up, in that second spot at the moment, we have Luke Pomeroy dropping in his first second ride. I'm hoping we see another. There's that beautiful sidekick to start off his ride.
Here we go. And Luke maybe going back for that sidekick because he tries to find that edge to get under him for the air screw. Nope, changing it up, going for a Pan Am and an unfortunate early flush. But you know what? Still claiming it. Positive attitude. And there we have the dangers of going for that green pass on that green curling shoulder.
Yeah, the rewards can be incredible speed, incredible air, but we just saw what can happen if it doesn't go right. And there we saw that sidekick. It's such a beautiful move.
Yeah, really fun to watch the way he's able to invert his boat on the side. Much harder than it looks, like most of the tricks out there being thrown.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is one big game of I think what I think I can do in my head versus what I can do in reality sometimes, or what my tricks felt like versus what they actually are.
Yeah, it often happens. You look back at the video of your runs or your paddle session, and you're like, "Wow, I thought I was going way bigger than that."
Yeah. But next up, Gav Barker, someone who does actually go probably bigger than most. Gav, a talented hole boater as well. Long time or GB team member. I believe actually Gav's first time on the GB team was at the 2015 Gar Raider World Championship, and he has really just worked to up his skills, and I'm excited to see what he's got to show for us here. Gav actually fairly self-taught, but I've seen him throw down big tricks and air screws on waves much smaller than this one. Oh my gosh, somehow managing to retain the feature there, working hard to paddle on and throwing an air screw right off that blunt into a blunt, maybe a Pan Am, going for a back Pan Am, surfing around, setting up nice and high, taking the pass, and using that time to control and reestablish himself on that surf. He knows he really wants to stay on the wave for this ride. Going for the air screw the other direction. Ooh.
Unfortunately catches a bit of an edge as he tries to finish that air screw around. We almost saw a heartbreaking moment right at the beginning where he almost flushed off the wave as he tried to catch it, managing to retain it, started it off back into what was looking to be a very promising ride, but ended in disaster with that edge catch.
You know, I did hear from some people that the water levels might be slightly lower today, which means the wave will feel a little bit different. Paddlers are going at different times. None of us have had a ton of practice time here on this feature, and it's been a really big, long competition week. So we're on, day 2, day 3?
Day 6.
Of this particular event, but day 6 overall. So, but now, next up, Alan Ward.
Yeah, he's dropping into the feature. Another paddler is looking to best his first ride score here to try to put himself into that top spot and knock Robert Crow a little bit further down that leaderboard. Starting off with a bit of a blunt to get some points on the board, looking to set something up, trying to kick his way up the feature, choosing to do that instead of climbing on the edges. Now he's there on that heartbreak shoulder, trying to get up to the top of the feature, looking for the pass. He's just not finding the pass. Oh no.
Oh no.
Looking for, he was having a hard time finding that speed, finding the pass down, and just decided to throw for something anyway as he needed some points and didn't quite land that air screw, which pulled him off that surfer's left shoulder.
You know, it's an interesting challenge for anyone organizing a World Cup event or a World Championship event to pick a feature, to find a feature that has the access you need for the crowds and the spectators, that's a big enough city to be able to host the officials, the athletes, the judges, and I think that here on the Chattahoochee River in Uptown Columbus, we have two, right? You've got the ambush wave just upstream, this good wave down here. And I know that several athletes were saying, wow, the scores on ambush were actually much higher than they were expecting. Well, scores here have been, wave has proved to be a challenge. And you always want a feature that's going to showcase everything athletes can do. And I know that this wave is capable of that. So Visa starting things off with a blunt right into a back blunt as he goes to take a slow, conservative approach, or maybe going for that little clean roundhouse as he tries to hop it up, going for a back blunt, trying to get more verticality on that trick. The athletes cannot see their live scores as they're paddling. Only we have that advantage. Nice big back Pan Am from Visa, getting the air on that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned with the water levels, we have Georgia Power here who's been doing their absolute best trying to keep these levels consistent, but it is difficult on more natural rivers like this. And Visa right there scoring the air screws on both directions, going for the helix. He's got 7 seconds left. We want to see something absolutely massive from him to get himself up. Goes for the back Pan Am. 2 seconds remaining. Throws in for another back Pan Am. Not sure if that was the other direction or not, or if he was just trying to get a little bit more air on it.
Yeah, you know, athletes must have their tricks clear of the foam to score. And that has been a tough challenge on a feature that is quite as foamy as Good Wave here. But yeah, massive thank you to Georgia Power, to the town of Uptown Columbus for all those working so hard to put on this really incredible event. I think Visa was almost trying for that blunt McNasty there, but not quite finding his bow edge to make that happen. Still, strong ride from Visa. I don't know if it's going to be enough to take over Rob Crow's current top spot.
Yeah, his score currently bouncing just under the 770 mark. Challenging potentially Luke for that second position depending on what the judges award. But if this finalizes here, this will keep Visa's third place position. We're just waiting here as we watch the replay of Visa's beautiful tricks. He is an absolute technician on a wave. There it bumps it up to 806. This will potentially bump him up into that second place position, a lot more comfortable than third here going into that first heat. Because as we saw with some of the paddlers here, anything is possible. So even the top two, they could end up in finals depending on what happens in heat number 2 here.
That's right. That was our final paddler, I believe, of heat number 1.
Yes, that wraps up the first heat of these semifinals here. Our next heats are going to be the current top 5 of yesterday's competition, yesterday's competition. Yes, in the quarterfinals, they will be Caleb Grady of Canada, Harry Price of Great Britain, Nick Troutman of Canada, Dane Jackson of the United States, and Mason Hargrove of the United States. You will see these people up shortly. That'll begin in just over 10 minutes here, but we are still waiting on the final score for Visa.
That's right. The clock is flashing. Its score is going up.
Now it's matching Robert Crow's ride exactly. It is a tie.
So what that means is we'll be going to their dropped ride score, and whoever had this higher dropped ride score will move into that first place position. So Rob Crow will retain that number 1 spot, and Visa coming in second.
Yes, so definitely bring himself up from that third place position. A very, very good performance on that second ride from Visa. We don't see ties too often, but what it means when we do see them is just it showcases how even so many of the athletes here are. The playing field has evened out so much over the years. We have been seeing more and more of these very tight rides, very tight scores, sometimes ties, sometimes 5-point differences.
That's true. You know, I mean, I think even 1-point differences, 1.5-point differences. It really comes down to executing every trick as perfectly as you can, really selling those moves to the judges and knowing what you want those ride scores to be. I think it also kind of shows that people have, there are certain tricks that a lot of people can get, and then there's other tricks that are a little bit harder that take, that maybe there's like just a little bit of a level differentiation between those that can consistently throw every trick on the score sheet versus some of them.
All right, and yeah, with that, we will leave you for 10 minutes here as we wait for our Heat 2 semifinals of men's.
All right, we are back with just 1 or 2 minutes to go here before heat number 2 of our men's semifinal round, on the Chattahoochee River here in the 2022 World Cup in Columbus, Georgia. So who do we have coming up in this next heat? We will be seeing Caleb Grady of Canada, Harry Price of Great Britain, Nick Troutman of Canada, Dane Jackson of the USA, and Mason Hargrove. It's right there on your screen. It just came up as I was speaking. So for those of you that are having trouble reading, I'm right there for you. But we've got some pretty big names in big wave boating and just in freestyle kayaking in general coming up in this heat. And we are going... I'm excited, Zach. What do you think is going to happen here? We're seeing some showdowns and also some upsets in the last heat. So what do you think we've got in store for us here? Will big wave expertise pay out?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been absolutely strange to see some of the scores already today. I think anything is possible at this point. There's always the risk of a flush. There's always the risk of something going wrong. There's the risk of ending up too far up on either shoulder. It's been very, very interesting and a bit of a toss-up on what's going to happen coming into this round. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see some of these paddlers, I'm sure we're going to see some of these paddlers reach over that 1,000 mark. We saw them go way over the 1,000 mark in the quarterfinals yesterday. So I do have some very high hopes to see some paddlers go absolutely massive. And included in their ranks is Caleb Grady here of Canada, who came out on top as the national champion in Canada and place on top on carburetor wave at our team trials, starting off with a beautiful air screw, going the air screw the other direction. So snappy.
Yeah, Caleb, a really consistent paddler, going right into his routine is there as he goes for the clean blunt in one direction, not quite liking that trick and going back for the other way, spinning around, catching his edge, but managing to stay on the feature as he's going to be going to look for that next clean blunt or maybe a back blunt. There it is, clean blunt to the left. What's he got for us next? I'm going to guess either a Pan Am. Yep, there it is, to the left. Going for the helix, trying to get some of those bigger points on the board. Helix to the direction, maybe getting a flip turn, still somehow in the foam, taking control of the feature. 3 seconds left. What has he got for us? Just enough time for one more trick. Can he throw it? And unfortunately, still a strong score and strong first ride for Caleb. A couple bobbles, retaining control. You saw him getting thrown off the pace slightly, but managing to recover.
Yeah, and depending on what the score finalizes at here, right now it's looking that it would put him in the first place, which would be very, very relieving for Caleb, because all you need to do right now as these last 5 paddlers is place above Robert Crow. If you do that, you are guaranteed a spot going into finals.
That is right. So again, Caleb, just such a technical, consistent paddler, just knowing kind of what that routine is going to look like. Though I want to point out that, as we were talking about tactics and things yesterday, I was saying, man, I really need to work on dialing in my back tricks. And he said, I don't even go backwards in my routine. Going backwards is scary. So I was like, but luckily he doesn't even need to. So we'll see. The score is still bouncing there.
No, yeah, you'll often see him go for all the front tricks, including those crazy helixes both directions before he turns it around.
Yeah.
I believe we saw him turn it around.
Comes from all that time on minibus, really.
Exactly, yeah. I do believe that one's a scary one to go down backwards.
Oh, terrifying.
But I do believe we've seen some of the backwards tricks come out, especially in the form of a flashback, which is spinning around into a clean backstab. That has been a very popular trick here on this feature. His score's still bouncing around. They're not sure whether they want to give him the 850, the 906, the 880. We'll have to see what they call at the end of the day here as it's bouncing back up to 906.
That's right. Each trick here has not only a specific point value, but also bonuses that are associated with it, and that can change the score. So Caleb coming in, taking over that first place position with a 906.67. So as of this point, he has just guaranteed himself a spot in the finals.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely stoked. That's going to be a massive, massive relief. One of the most stressful things it's very beneficial to know where you're coming and who you're going above when you go into those last 5 paddlers. But it can also be a different level of stress to manage, because you know the score you need to beat. So you're going into the feature already knowing what you need to accomplish, and if you don't, that can be absolutely terrifying. But here we have Harry Price dropping into the feature for his first ride.
Harry going to start things off there, just looking to take control of the wave and find that perfect pass, going maybe for a roundhouse there. It looks like he's trying for that air screw, going for the Pan Am instead, changing up this routine. There's the air screw as he has to work with the wave. Harry spending time on the big waters of the Lachine Rapids as well as the Slave River, going for that air screw the other direction, going for the Pan Am. Maybe not getting quite clear of the foam, but looks like the judges liked that trick, going for a back blunt.
He's still looking to set something up here, working in the foam pile, going for the helix. He's got 5 seconds left. Let's see what he's got for us. Maybe the helix the other direction. As he goes to throw it, unfortunately gets pushed off that shoulder.
Yeah, you could just, this wave is just a lesson in hydrology, isn't it? You could just see as the wave moved from the bottom to the top with that foam pile, and Harry just rode right up to the top with it.
Exactly, yes. It is proving exactly what we've seen earlier today, that even the best paddlers here can catch an unfortunate flush on this feature. It has been very punishing, especially at these slightly lower levels that we've seen today versus yesterday.
Yeah, you know, and again, huge shout out to Georgia Power for working with us in this competition, for making sure that there has been water all week for these athletes to compete and train on. You have been absolutely fantastic, as have all of our sponsors. So Harry's ride score flashing at 770, so breaking him into that top 5 position. However, that means that he is now...
So he's at 770, puts him down currently in 5th place. He's definitely, he's going to want to look for a better second ride.
Yeah, we've still got 3 paddlers to go that could bump him down. Absolutely. So one of those paddlers, look at all those sparkles. That would be Mr. Nicholas Troutman out of Beachburg, Ontario, representing the red and white of that Canadian flag.
Yeah, he's very color coordinated. He's always been every time I see him in a boat.
Mom Paula, Dad Rick, I'm sure watching at home, cheering him on. Paula, I can hear you from here as he goes for a huge air screw to start things off. Air screw the other direction, just so much amplitude on those tricks, going right into the helix. You can see him just dropping that edge to stay on the feature. Nick, huge proponent of the stakeout scene as he goes for helix the other direction.
Yeah, he's looking to set one more trick here, going for a clean blunt to the back blunt, the same direction, cartwheeling out a bit, managing to retain in the feature, looking to set something else backwards, going for those back tricks, going for a back Pan Am, which led to an unfortunate flush again. We've been seeing an insane amount of flushes. I really can't.
It's been a tough day.
It's
been a tough morning. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, his score currently hovering just under the 800 mark. At 800, just over 8. We'll see what it locks in at. It needs to jump over 863 to guarantee him a spot. Otherwise, he will have to rely on his second ride going into these semifinals.
Yeah, I love watching the slow-mo replay of those air screws as you really just see how much energy Nick puts into his boat, how much he's winding up to get ahead of the boat. You know, Nick also struggling with a concussion from earlier this year, and so just really fantastic to see him out here on form competing.
Concussion's a very, very real thing that happens way more than it should happen in these sports. So it is definitely important to keep your head safe, wear your helmet.
Take time to recover if you do get one. So Nick, 823.33, putting him into the number 4 spot. So he will also be looking to move up in the ranks with his next ride.
And next up here, we have the one and only Dane Jackson out of the United States, rocking that bib number 1. And why is that?
Well, that's because he is currently the reigning world champion. So starting things off with a huge air screw the other direction. Dane putting down the single highest ride score yesterday, over 1,500 points. So in that Pan Am right there just shows why. Dane taking his time, setting up, going for the back blunt, maybe a back Pan Am, going for a helix, right into the helix the other direction.
This is starting off as a very solid first ride here for Dane Jackson. He's going for the last part of his run, going for a Pan Am into the back Pan Am as he comes back down the wave. He's still got 10 seconds left. He's over 1,000 points. Goes for the clean blunt to the left. 6 seconds left on the board. Goes for a clean roundhouse to the right. Goes for a beautiful pistol flip. I believe he's the only one we've seen do that. He claims that right. He knows what he has done. He knows he is in the finals with a ride. We might even see him bump over, potentially, depending on how far up this keeps going. Maybe we'll see him best that 1,500 again.
I would not be surprised if that does happen. Dane, just an absolute technician. And, you know, even more important than being a good kayaker, Dane is one of the most genuine, kindest, generous humans you will meet. He is out there all day in the sun, cheering on his fellow competitors, helping people out, giving coaching, supporting people, competing in C1. You know, this man, I think, just epitomizes what it means to be a kayaker.
There it is, over 1,500, sitting
Still
at
flashing.
1,520. It's still flashing. It could still go up. It could still go down, but I think it's going to potentially go up, if anything. There it is, 1,530. This is absolutely stunning first ride.
Yeah, scores are still telling as the judges go through those bonuses. They make sure, did everybody get all of those tricks? And if they didn't on the first go through, I almost don't blame them, because those are a lot of moves to keep track of.
Definitely.
Look at that beautiful clean blunt, maybe a clean Pan Am, showing why he's representing that Red Bull helmet. And even a clean roundhouse. Even Dane Jackson does a roundhouse once in a while. He is immortal. But then there's that pistol flip, and you're like, oh yes, no, he's Dane Jackson.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he
Dane
does
also battling an ear infection at the moment.
Oh yes, that's another common one. Very big trend that's been coming up over the last couple of years has been going for earplugs in the water, not just for ear infections. I forget what it is called, but cold water can cause blockage of the ear canal as well. Yes, that's the one. His score coming in at 1563.33. I don't know if that best is right from yesterday, but I
believe
think
it does.
Might.
I believe it does. So huge first ride score for Dane Jackson. Gauntlet thrown for young Mason Hargrove. Mason Hargrove out of Phoenix City, Alabama, just here, born and raised in the Chattahoochee River. He wants that #1 spot. What's he got for us?
Well, right off the bat, he goes for a air screw, getting pushed off that left surfer's right shoulder on the first trick. That is unfortunate. So here, we're going to see that in the replay here. So he decided to go right off the bat into that air screw. So something that is often noticeable is if you throw, you'll see a lot of paddlers play with the left and right shoulder, whether they throw into the shoulder. So let's say that you're playing on the surfer's left shoulder, you might go and do your tricks towards the left into the shoulder. And one of the reasons for that is when you land a trick, you are most likely to end up carving back out the other direction. And here we saw that happen right away as he threw away from that left shoulder, landed, caught a stern edge, and it pushed him right off that shoulder. That was very unfortunate first ride.
Yeah,
but I'm sure we're going to see him come back with something powerful on this second one.
That was shocking. Yeah, I'm going to put it out there. Absolutely shocking. And also just evidence that, even the best in the world can catch that flush, can catch that bobble. This is a technical feature. It is a challenging feature. As we saw in Dane's ride, it can really reward you. It can really showcase what the athletes in the sport are capable of. And then it can also really humble you. But next up, out of Westmeath, Ontario.
Yeah, we're speaking of humble. This is probably one of the most humble paddlers I have run into in a long time as he drops into the feature.
Yeah.
He's looking to top his first score. He's already in final, but he wants to be further up on that leaderboard. Starting off with a very powerful air screw. Looking for potentially the air screw the other direction, which is something we've seen consistently.
Ooh.
Not quite getting the pop on that.
Yeah, Caleb catching an unfortunate hard pass there, but recovering well with that clean blunt right into the other clean blunt. Caleb honing his skills on the Ottawa River, but also traveling the world the last 5 years with World Class Academy. Going for the clean blunt to the right, just in case. Maybe a clean roundhouse. Going for the other air screw. Moving around here. Still 15 seconds left. What's he got? He's got a helix. Oh, and that is going to bring him really high up in the pile, and an unfortunate early flush. He'll take it. He'll claim it. That is the positivity and the stoke that we want to see.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to worry. He's into the finals either way. So the stress wasn't there, but he is still good for later today. We'll see him back. We'll see exactly what position he falls in depending on how these next paddlers compete.
Yeah, I would like to say that I said Westmeath, but Caleb is technically from La Paz. But just the other day I said he was from Beachbrook, so I got shouted out for that too. Hard to keep track. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, and there you saw that helix pushing him back out of the feature. One of the reasons that we keep saying helixes are a risky trick, and we've seen a lot of paddlers go that bold move of using them early in their runs, is due to the fact that you're upside down for so long, your body drags in that green water and catches it really strong, and often you'll see paddlers get dragged right out of the feature before they have the chance to roll back up. However, if you do get that roll back up in time, it is massive points, and you're often set up right at the top of the feature for one big pass. Score locking in at 536. He will be sticking with his first ride score of 906 as we move on down the list here to Harry Price of Great Britain.
Yeah, Harry Price, pressure is on. He knows that he needs to use this ride to break into that top 5, and this is his last chance. Harry, along with partner Audie, kind of using that Kayak Without Limits, Life Without Limits YouTube channel, video blogging about their successes. So here we go.
Beautiful air screw starting things off, maybe getting a huge bonus from that. Air screw the other direction. You can see when these athletes kind of sink into their flow, find their rhythm, and then game is on as he goes for a big Pan Am, spinning it right back around, controlling the front surf as he looks to set things up, spins it around, nice back blunt. So Harry taking his time, moving a little slower trick to trick, trying to stay a little bit conservative here as he knows he needs at least 800 points to make it, 820 points to make it into this top 5.
863 to be precise, actually, yes. He's definitely looking for it. He's trying to be calculated here, going for the last couple tricks he needs. Does he stick that? He's got a few seconds to get one more big trick. He definitely needs it. Goes for the blunt, trying to get the blunt McNasty, not quite pulling it around. You saw a little bit of a head shake there. I think he knows he did not hit what he wanted. I saw that. He really was going for that last-minute blunt McNasty there. That would have really brought those points up for him on that scoreboard.
Yeah, what a challenging feature, and still strong athletic performance, strong showing from Harry. Very talented paddler. Let's see, scores are still flashing as he creeps around that 800-point mark.
Yeah, so he needs another 60-ish points to bring him up. Unfortunately, not getting those 60 points, sticking at 808 for his best ride. That will currently put him in 6th position at the moment.
So moving him up just one place, but not into that top 5. So let's see who here is still to go. We still have Nick Troutman, as well as Mason Hargrove, who will be looking to break into the top 5. So this top 5 can still change.
And what we've noticed already is that we already know that Robert Crow will be in. Now it's whether Visa will make it in or be bumped out by our next paddler here as he drops in. Nick Troutman on a beautiful air screw, going for the air screw the other direction. He's not wasting any time, trick after trick, going for a beautiful helix. That was so much air. The helix the other direction. He's going to be looking to best that, and it's looking really good so far as he has still half his right left to go. A beautiful clean blunt, setting up backwards, potentially looking for a back Pan Am, something he's done with a ton of style here.
Yeah, Nick, just such a talented, well-rounded, consistent builder. Huge back Pan Am. Yes, Nick, that is the style of trick we want to see. Is he going to go for one the other direction? Just a nice conservative back blunt. Still 9 seconds left. Going for a side kick there, showing that Ottawa Valley love into the blunt. McNasty nailing that trick as he brings his score over 1,000 points, and he will be comfortably into the finals with that. Oh, it was absolutely gutting to see Nick miss out on finals and ambush, and I am so stoked to see him put this ride together. You know, no one has favorites, but we all have favorites. And Nick, I think, is just one of my favorite people to be on the water with. And so just to see him put that ride together, absolutely fantastic. Great rides.
Yeah, and there we see his score now sitting cleanly over 1,000, over the 1,200 point mark at 12:45. He was stoked. You saw that little claim at the end, that wave to the crowd. He knows what he has done, and this has guaranteed him a place up in that final.
Yeah, and you know, I want to say the goal of this is always to see every athlete do their best and show off all the hard work that goes into training for this sport. You know, if those of you looking to even try and get your start in whitewater, I recommend finding a kayak school, heading to places with warm water. Personally, I'm biased, like here in the Chattahoochee, like up on the Ottawa River where Nick is from. Just so many wonderful kayak schools and places to learn and people to help you out there. But please do find professionals to help get you involved in this sport.
Yeah, and we're seeing the replay as they keep showing off some of his beautiful tricks. We see that blunt McNasty, and I also like you mentioned the side kick. He saw Luke do it. He's like, I can't let Luke be the only Canadian to throw a side kick.
Yeah, he also knew that he wanted to get most Canadian flags into that final 5 icon there. So fantastic ride from Nick Troutman as they are still tabulating the scores.
12:68 being his final score. Very solid ride, putting him in 2nd position.
You know, Nick, former world champion at the Toon World Cups, or World Championship, excuse me, in Switzerland. So he is just no stranger to pressure under competition. That really showed.
Yeah, now we have Dane dropping in for his 2nd ride. He's already sitting quite comfortably in the top spot, but he's going to want to go even higher, starting off with a absolutely massive air screw. Going for the Pan Am to the left, going right into the back Pan Am to the same direction, going for the Pan Am, potentially blunt depending on how vertical that stern went. Looking for the helix, potentially going for the flip turn. There is the helix, pulling it nice around the full 360 degrees, going 360 degrees the other direction, completely inverted. Going into that clean blunt, keeping that paddle nice up and high, flipping immediately into a pistol flip. This is going into an absolutely massive ride. Lining up backwards, going the pistol flip the other direction. That is both pistol flips
How did he
in
pull that
one
off?
ride.
So not quite the air on those pistol flips as he did in the last ride, but still getting them out there. And Dane just showing that consistency. You know, he doesn't even put down one huge ride. He's going to put down 2 huge rides, and he's going to get every trick he wants. Boom. I joke frequently that I want some sort of exoskeleton that I can program with Dane's moves so I can learn how to do the tricks the way he does them. Just what a ride, what a talent, and what a showing from Dane Jackson. That score creeping up towards that 1,500 point mark.
Yeah, Dane is one of those many paddlers in the world that you see these days that you watch over on Instagram or on any of the live feeds, and so many paddlers look at these guys and they're like, wow, I want to do that one day. And it's inspiring because it brings a lot of new people into the sport sometimes.
I frequently have friends and family members sending me pictures of Dane running a waterfall going, do you know this guy? I'm like, yes, I do.
All right,
Yes, I
his
do.
score already looking like it's going to top his first ride score, sitting at 1581. 1551, that actually might drop it just below, but we'll have to see. He's competing.
Look at that huge clean Pan Am. Absolutely spectacular edge control, boat control as he tries to go right into the pistol flip. We'll see if they scored that move. I'm not quite sure, but it still worked as he goes for the clean blunt the other way. And then right into that. Yeah, I think Dane, you can see the camera angles here really showing the size of the wave pile as he goes for that pistol flip the other direction. Really just having such great awareness, boat body awareness, knowing where his boat is on the water, where his body is, and what he needs to do to make those tricks work.
Yeah,
There's that pistol flip.
Now, the one thing with the pistol flip is I do believe, as it is technically also counted as a McNasty, there has to be air in that loop. So not for the pistol flip. All right, that remains just for the McNasty then.
No, not the McNasty. You can get an air bonus on both of those tricks.
Oh, well, look at that. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, but that's it. The rules do change frequently. So Dane, 1551.67. He will be sticking with his first ride score. A mere 15 points of difference, not even. But right now, last up here to go, sitting in a, I would say, pressure cooker situation, hometown hero Mason Hargrove looking to show off, put down what he can do, and that's a 1,500 point ride.
So he's dropping into the wave. He's going huge right off the bat. A beautiful textbook air screw. He's looking to set something else up using that dangerous shoulder. Going for the air screw the other direction. Unfortunately catches an edge, but still manages to retain. Not sure if they'll count that as an air screw or a donkey flip, but still saves that. Going into the Pan Am to the left. Flashback to the right. Setting up into a blunt. Maybe looking for that blunt McNasty. Not feeling it when he came around. Beautiful flashback into a Pan Am there. Looking to set a couple more tricks. He's already scoring some big stuff here. Going into the Pan Am the other direction. He is definitely showing himself some composure, especially after that first ride into that backstab to the right. Using every moment of his ride into a beautiful pistol flip. He's stoked. He's happy. He knows that he got that in the buzzer. He knows how many points he will have gotten for that, and it's looking to have put him up and put him into the finals later today. That's exactly what he wanted. That's showing how much composure he has to come out of that first ride that was a disaster into what turned out into an absolutely phenomenal second ride.
Yeah, and you could see him really bobble there after that second air screw early on, right about here, where he doesn't actually land the air screw, catches his edge, and almost could have flushed off the wave, but manages to retain the feature, recover his ride, going right into that nice big vertical blunt, switching it around, and then he knows he's calculating the points, he's calculating how much time he has, and he knows he needs that blunt nasty if he wants to break that 800 point mark, which he then did. So great, great competition, great way to represent under pressure, perform under pressure, excuse me,
Yeah,
from young Mason Hargrove.
All the athletes out here, they spend a lot of time training on the water and off the water, not just in the gym, but also the mind game. It is easily, I'd say, at times, especially when you get to this level of competition, it can be almost up to even 50% of your performance is what you are thinking, how you are dealing with the pressure and stress in your head. So training that is as important as any of the on-water training.
Yeah, it really is. And, and these athletes are not only practicing tricks, they're practicing rides, they're practicing blocks and combos and moves and figuring out how things work together, how things link together, so that when they are here under pressure, you're not thinking about the trick. It's just your body can kind of go into instinct and have that take over. You can see the relief on Mason's face there as he knows he did enough to make his way into finals, because while these top 5 spots matter to see who will get to take 3 rides tonight, it is tonight's final round that will be determining who our medalists will be.
Yeah, so as we're still waiting for the final score, it's looking exceptionally good, sitting around just over the 1,000-point mark. We now know who our top are. We're just waiting for that score to lock in before we officially announce the list. I do believe now, unfortunately, Visa will be bumped just under because of that tiebreaker, which will keep Robert Crow of Great Britain in the finals. So, moving on to finals later today, we will have, in order of who goes first, we will have Robert Crow of Great Britain, Caleb Grady of Canada, Mason Hargrove of the United States, Nick Troutman of Canada, and Dane Jackson of the United States.
That's
we will
right.
see you guys back in after a short break here. Our open canoe final. This will be our first final of the day. We will see some medals awarded later at the end of the day based off of the results of this. We will see Michael Mijoskovic of the United States, Landon Miller of the United States, who we also saw compete in the junior men's K1 earlier and also qualified for the finals in that, Seth Chappelle of the United States, and Jordan Poffenberger of the United States. That will happen in 20 minutes at 12:45. In the meantime, this was Zach.
I'm Anna Bruno. Thank you again to all of our sponsors, to all of our volunteers helping us here make this 2022 ICF World Cup Freestyle event happen.